Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to Critically Drinking. I'm your host, Rashawn. I'm going to go ahead and hit the intro, but I want to let you guys know what we're talking about today. Today, we'll be talking about loosely about just pearly things, but I really want to talk about how and why the fallout was the way it was and why so few people expected it. So we're going to talk about that very briefly for anybody that's watching on video on demand. I appreciate you, but I'm going to play the song and I'll be right back with you. Peace.
It's been a long one, and I need someone so high.
Wash away the toxicity.
With my passion, and the candles moving, and the candles moving, and it's time for you to join the current. And we go again, critically drinking, stay thirsty.
Hustle and grind culture is another version of it. I can sleep when I'm dead. You'll be dead.
It's showtime. Come in and have a drink with our whole crew. Come on then, join the panel or chill from the chat. Do it how you wanna do. The misfit thoughts keep the whole chat lit. And soon you'll be a part of it too. So come back again, my friend, or we'll come find you. Here we go again.
What's up?
Critically drinking, stay thirsty, my friend. Ready to love and hope it never. If it does, oh, we'll be back again. Now let's make one thing clear. Because of you is why we're here. You give us life, you give us love. That is why we want you get to our heart. Come and join the show, cause we need you to grow. So pull up a chair and share with us all of the things you know. Here we go again. Critically drinking, stay thirsty, my friend. Learning to love and hope it never. If it does, oh, we'll come back again.
And like the song say, hey, don't, I will come find you. Easy way. Or the hard way.
Amazing.
I got my own platform. If I got something to say, I hit my live button, ho.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to Critically Drinking. Give me a second. What is Risa Neal in the building? The sniper, no sniping. That was beautiful. Beautiful work yesterday. Dawn Frank, hey, y'all, I know you working and lurking. Appreciate you. I know you might come back to catch the replay. Hope you do. Give me a second, just responding to a message. How's everybody doing today? How's your Friday? How is your Friday? Oh, that still says Thirsty Thursday. My goodness, y'all. Give me a second. I can't do that. I can't. While I'm getting rid of I forgot all about. Let me just put that up here for a minute. Let me do that for a minute while I get that set up, because that's going to irk my nerves. I might just leave it like that. I can just leave it like that. I'll roll with it. Yeah, I'll roll with that. I don't really care about that today. Anyway, thank you everybody for coming in. Appreciate you for stopping by. Yellow Peel in the building, man. What it do? What the business is? Word on the streets. Yellow known the handle his. Man, I gotta show up too sometime. So I'm here now. Bree in the building. Now Bree just had a terrific stream. I'm going to play a bit of it in a little bit, but she had a really dope stream, and I know. Okay, my bad. All right, listen. It's not my girl. It's an ex. Okay, I'm gonna just respond to the text, and then we're good. Okay, we're good. What's up, Anita? Showing love. Appreciate you for popping through. I'm going to actually be talking about the reason why this caused so much of an issue, because I've heard this statement recurring. Why is everybody so up in arms? Why is everybody so up in arms? Well, when we sit back and think about it, I did a stream on it, jealousy. We kind of know why. Like, we know that jealousy is at the root of a lot of things around the Just Pearly Things controversy. But I want to go a layer deeper. The specifics about the dynamics between relationships, why people are breaking up and fighting, why it's caused so much turmoil amongst people that have never met Just Pearly. I want to take a look at why that is. A sermon that I heard from TD Jakes actually illustrated the dynamic very well. It's something that stuck with me year after year after year. I always come back to this principle, and I'm going to share it with all of you guys. So if you can hang on while I respond to this message, we'll get started. Hanifa, quit judging me. Quit judging me, Hanifa. Do. Bam. All right. So, sniper, no sniping. I'm not even going to fix the overlay. It is just going to be a Freestyle Friday. Your girl is really... I don't have a girl. You're about to say something slick, though. I know you, Nova. You already got something prepared. You're about to snipe me. And what's up, Nova? Good to see y'all. Man, salute to all of y'all that's coming through. I really do appreciate y'all. But I wanted to reset real quick. Let me reset. We have two things on tap for today. Because I do have a little bit of extra time. It's typically family day. So I'm typically always out of here on a Friday by 3:30 p.m. Eastern time. I have until about 4:30 p.m. Eastern time. So I'll be here for roughly around 3 hours. On the first half, probably about the first hour, from 1:30 to about 2:30 p.m. Eastern, I'll be talking about why the fallout from Just Pearly Things happened between interpersonal relationships that had nothing to do with Pearly. That's going to be the first part, and I'm going to route that through TD Jakes and Bree. Bree actually highlighted a dynamic too mere moments ago. Then the next hour or two, we're just going to have some fun. It's Friday. I know you guys do not want to learn. You already know. You already got it. You already got it, because the enemy of my enemy is not my friend, and the people in this space live by that nonsense. The relationships are not built on genuine care and love for each other. That's my nickel. Starred. That comment gets starred because Hanifa already read the Cliff Notes. Hanifa has already been and read and heard and experienced the things that we somehow get shocked about. I'm assuming, like I had this comment yesterday when I was talking about men should not wait to engage in relationships. I'm thinking we have a lot of relationship virgins. I'm thinking we have a lot of people who have never experienced real relationship with people and how difficult it is, which is why I keep hearing it shouldn't be this hard. It should be easy. I think I keep hearing that because there's a lot of relationship virgins who have just not experienced the full breadth of success and failure in an interpersonal dynamic. So Hanifa's already on it. New growth in the building. Hello. And who are you trying to convince that you're single? That's not my girl. Listen, listen, I don't consider myself single. I'm also not in a relationship. I'm ineligible. I'm an ineligible bachelor. That's what I am. Ineligible. I'm off the market. Undateable. I'm a problem. And I know it. I know I'm a full problem. So I'll remove myself from that entire section. I'm a handful, Brie. I mean, Hanifa. I'm a handful. I'm sorry. I tried to remove myself from that dynamic entirely. But I want to let you know that I will drop the link after I get through about the first 45 minutes or so. I will drop the link. Anybody who wants to come up, because after that, I do intend to have some fun. We're going to make fun of people, and not in the petty, not in the catty, not in the name calling, not in the bringing receipts type way that we've been doing the last week or so. It's going to be some clips. I know, Hanifa. It's going to be some clips from other shows like TikTok or YouTube. Clips about people talking about relationships, and we're just going to talk about our opinion about those ideas and concepts. Very basic, harmless fun, where we're not going to be calling out content creators. atting them. We're not going to be atting. We're not going to do any of that. Nobody's in the thumbnail except Pearly, who, you know, we just need to get her face out there just for the algorithm. Just for the algorithm, not for us. Because it's not really about Pearly. Not really about Pearly. So, poll question. You know, I got to work the poll. Work the poll with a body roll. All right. That's how we're going to start the weekend off. Do you believe? Let me get this in the. Let me copy this over real quick. I'm going to put that in the. You will come up today for this convo because the lack of self-awareness in this space. Hey, what's. Oh. I might drop the link right now. Come on, don't play with me, Hanifa. Don't play with me. Okay, let me see. Whew, okay, I'm working the poll. It's an Ask Your Community. Did I hit it? Is that too many characters? Wow, that's too many. And see, something's tripping. YouTube might be tripping. There we go. I'm tired. If my tired behind don't fall asleep. All right, Giddy. Okay, bye. Apparently, it's the original Caucasoid. Now, my favorite, Nova Rain ate this insult. Nova Rain ate this insult. We were somewhere, I think it might have been on Hanifa's stream, and somebody said white people are an invasive species. I was like, oh, Nova just ate it. I respect Nova's gangster, and that he could take like cultural, racial slights and keep rolling. I love that. I love it. But man, much respect to everybody in the chat. I definitely appreciate all of y'all. But now that we have the poll, I'm working the poll. Have you guys seen all of the Fallout? I know most of y'all have because I've seen y'all's names. I've been there. Y'all been there. So I know most of y'all been following it. What have been your impressions? What are the interesting truths that you have found lurking behind the debates and the debacle? Pearly, in my opinion, is just an avatar. She's a proxy. They aren't emotional about her specifically, but what she represents. And she represents different things to different people. I'm sure you already pieced that together for the most part, but this is something that we all do. Human nature does not play favorites. We're all subject to it. When people are seemingly blowing something out of proportion, it's because we've imbued it. We've given it some kind of extra layer of emotional context that the rest of us cannot see. We're not privy to it. But it does manifest. It comes out through their language and through their behavior. So you do eventually start to see what it is that it stands in proxy for. Somebody will say something, a word that'll trigger your mind and let you know this is what they're mad about. Because again, if you don't know her, you've never worked with her, you're not really mad about her. There's something else. And I talked about it on the jealousy stream. I talked about some of it is because people gave her cover, because she has more success. There's a lot of different reasons that people are jealous back and forth. Lots of reasons. And we're not going to dive into that today. What I want to bring to the front right now is a sermon by T.D. Jakes. And it's about 7 minutes. I have about 7 minutes of it. Let me see. Not Bree. That's Bree. That's Jakes. I'm going to play that. 7 minutes and 54 seconds. Because it talks about 3 types of friends. It talks about 3 types of friends. So if y'all give TD Jakes 7 minutes to talk about 3 types of friends, I'll come back behind him. And I may pause it. But I really want him to just rock out. But I may pause it at certain points to just interject.
Do not categorize the blessing by colors. It is not the colors you need to watch. It is the character.
Ignore the poor audio. You know, this is an old one. Hey, man, appreciate you, man. Thank you for stopping by, man. Hope everything is going well. We'll definitely hit you up soon, bro.
Watch out for the character. I'm going to tell you that there are 3 basic types of people that you will interact with if you are a child of destiny. Can I share this with you? The first group are confidants. confidants. You will have very few of them. Confidants are those people in your life who love you unconditionally. They are into you.
Man, Drill.
Whether you're up or down, right or wrong, they are into you. They are in for the long haul. If you get in trouble, they get in trouble with you. They'll come see you in the jailhouse.
And real quick, man, Drill, did you get the email? Did you get the video? I mean, I didn't get any acknowledgement that you got the video. Just put a yes in the chat if you got the video.
They'll come get you out the crack house. They're confidants. You can open up and share anything with them. You'll never inherit your kingdom until you find your confidant. You can't be David till you find your Jonathan.
Hey, real quick, I'm gonna share something that Bree did early on her stream, man. Please go out and check out Bree's stream from earlier. What she called it was not synchronicity. Put it in the chat, Bree. What was the word that you used? It was something like synchronous, synergy. Synergy was the word. A person that you find synergy with. It doesn't have to be a marriage. It can be in business. It can be friendship. She was talking about it through the context of a video game. That's what he's talking about. The person that you find synergy with, because you magnify your output potential exponentially. The more people you can synergize with, you know, that flow state, harmonizing is another way to look at that.
Having a good confidant is the key that unlocks the kingdom, because you were raised outside the gate and God's going to cause you to reach over the wall. You got to have a confidant behind the wall who can mentor you for what God is going to do next in your life. The problem with most people is that everybody they run around with is under them. And so you are forever feeding people who can't feed you. And after years of feeding them, they begin to drain you. You got to have somebody who can feed you so you can feed somebody else. Oh, y'all don't hear what I'm saying. Am I talking to anybody in here? You need the confidant then. The confidant is those few people that come along in your life that are for you. They are with you. They are intimately intertwined in your life. They are there to make sure that you reach your destiny. They will confront you. They will get in your face. They will get in your business. They will tell you when you're wrong, because they are confidants. If you have 2 or 3 of them in a lifetime, you are a blessed person.
Yes, Hanifa is absolutely right. Withdrawals without deposits. A lot of us have set up friendships. We've set up friendships with people that cannot reciprocate, that cannot give back the energy, the time, the resources, whatever it is that we pour out. We can't get anything that we value back. And they're not really friendships like TDJ just said. It's almost like, I would say, mentorships. They're not even friendships. A lot of these relationships are more like mentorships, unpaid internships, where we just do labor for each other, but the other person can't give us back on the level that we require. But even beyond that, what bothered me, and I'll say recently, is that people cannot be challenged. You'll call people your friend, but if you do something that's unfavorable, if you do something that's hurtful, nobody's allowed to call you on it. That's not a friend. That's not a confidant. That's not even a good follower. If the people that are in my chat, if the people that are on my panel, if they cannot say, Rashawn, you might be tripping. Rashawn, you might be off this time. Rashawn, you might want to think about this a different way. If I cannot take that type of criticism, so my link is old. Okay, my link is old. I get it. Boo. Let me see. I'm going to have to change that link. Okay, it took me to it, though. So I'm glad she got a better handle now. But if you cannot be challenged, which is what I've been seeing, it was conflated. Good people were the people that agreed. I've seen that multiple times. I've seen this multiple times where I've been in the chat and you were only considered good when you agreed. And if you disagreed, you've been a troll. You've been a race traitor. Depending on what you were disagreeing about. You've been patriarchy, you've been a feminist, you've been an incel, you've been sassy. There's an insult for every disagreement. So those are not spaces where you are safe to disagree. Those are not friendships. Those are not good relationships. If you cannot challenge it, You cannot change it. And a lot of these people are talking about we're having spaces to change things. No. And that's something that we got to face at some point.
Without them, you'll never be who God called you to be. You need to find your confidant. Number two, the other group are your constituents. They are not into you. They are into what you are for. They are for what you are for. They are your constituents. And as long as you are for what they are for, they will walk with you and work with you and labor with you, but never think that they are for you. They are for what you are for. And you have to know that, because if they meet somebody else that will further their agenda, they will leave you and hook up with them, because they were never for you. They were just for what you were for. They are your constituents.
Man, I want to pause that too, because there's a lot of people out here that will think are for us because they'll spend so much time, they'll invest so much energy. They may even put some money behind us, but it's because of what opportunity they see because of their affiliation with you. They may be riding your coattails. They may be riding your energy, riding your wave, or they see that you can enhance what they have going on. What they're for may be themselves, and people will ride. They will ride you to satisfy them. They'll get everything and extract everything, your labor, your money, your time. They will ride you to satisfy them. They may be what they're for, and they're using you. The moment you don't feed into them the way that they want or the way that they need, they'll cut you off. That's a constituent. That's a very political relationship. That's a very political relationship. They're not about you as a person at all. They don't care about you as a person. It's only what you bring, what you're in alignment with.
And throughout your life, if you're not careful, particularly if you're broken, you will mistake your constituents for your confidants. And you will think that they are for you when they are really not for you. They are just for what you are for. And by the time you get through falling in love with them, they will break your heart as they hook up with somebody else who is for what you are for, because it was never about you anyway. It was about the causes that you represent. They are for what you are for, but they are not for you. They are your constituents. Can I go deeper with this? The third.
And that's a real quick one. Just a real quick one, man. You got to really be careful, because we found in this internet space, there's a lot of emotionally fragile people. So they're very susceptible to somebody having a kind word, because they're probably not getting any kind words in their real life. I played that video of that lady that hadn't been hugged in 5 years. There's a lot of people who do not have anybody to listen to them, who do not sit with them, and they use the internet space to satisfy that need. And I'm not shaming that. What I'm saying is that it needs to be understood that that's a real thing. So when somebody agrees and aligns with them, they take it as friendship. But what somebody else is using it for is a business relationship. It might be anything, but it's definitely not because of who you are. Y'all just happen to agree on some points, but try disagreeing. You find out who people are in times of turmoil, in times of stress, and a challenge to somebody's ideology. That's a challenge. You'll see what comes out of people when you disagree with them. See what kind of names you get called. See how the cold shoulder start turning towards you. Like try challenging somebody. Your favorite content creator, the person you take up, you panel with all the time, challenge their thinking. Publicly, not disrespectfully, just challenge it. Hey, do you think you could be wrong about that? See how they react, and you'll see how they feel about you.
Group are your comrades. These people are not for you, nor are they for what you are for. It is just that they are against what you are against. And the comrades will make strange bedfellows. This will cause people to come together who are not for you, and they are not for what you are for, but they are against what you are against. And they will team up with you to help fight a greater enemy. But don't be confused by their associations. They will only be with you until the victory is accomplished. These people are like scaffolding. They come into your life to fulfill a purpose. And when the purpose is complete, the scaffolding scaffolding is removed. But don't be upset when they are removed, because the building always remains when the scaffolding is removed. What I'm saying to you, my brothers and sisters, expect the constituents and the comrades to leave you and desert you after a while. Don't be upset when they don't react to your dream the way you expected them to, because they were never really with you in the first place. Be careful then who you tell your dream to, because if you tell your dream to your constituents, they will desert you and try to fulfill the dream without you. If you tell it to your comrades, they won't support it because they never were for what you were for anyway. If you find a few people in your entire life with whom you can share your dream with, you are a blessed somebody. I can tell you how to identify people who are really for you. If they are really for you, they will weep with you when you weep, and they will rejoice when you rejoice. When you walk in a room and you tell somebody good news, stop being happy for a minute and watch their reaction. If they're not happy for you, shut your mouth and walk back out of the door. Oh, y'all don't hear what I'm saying to you. Oh yeah, because when they are really connected to you, they will be happy for you when you share your dream. Find somebody, look them in the eye and say, are you happy for me? If you don't get the right reaction, don't tell them anything else. You need somebody who's really going to be happy for you. I don't want just anybody praying for me. I don't want none of them haters praying for me, because you know you hate me and you don't want me to succeed. I want somebody praying for me who really wants me to be blessed, who wants me to be an overcomer, so you can put up your oil and stop speaking in tongues, because you know you never did speak to me anyway, and ain't no need in you coming up here in this hospital like you gonna pray some cancer up off of me. I'd rather have somebody who really loves me lay across the bed and rebuke the devil. And God is so faithful, he'll always give you somebody. Oh, if he ever sent anybody into your life to help you, you ought to just clap your hands and thank him for the people he sent. Don't worry about the people he took. You ought to praise him for the people he sent. Tell somebody, say, somebody help me. I didn't get here.
Hey, but I'm going to go ahead and pour that down. Y'all got the idea. He talked about confidants, constituents, and comrades. And that always stuck with me. The people that are in your life, we always use that one, people are in your life for a reason or a season or for a moment. I can't remember exactly how the quote goes, but y'all know what I'm talking about. I also believe we need to evaluate what that reason is. Because if we find out what that reason is, whether they're constituents or comrades, that's why you find out how long the season's going to be. We can learn more about these dynamics that we make up cute quotes for. We have a lot of cliches for. We can have more knowledge about how people operate, including ourselves, if we go further down into these concepts. So yeah, people do come into your life for a reason. Are you the reason? Is what you're for the reason? Or is what you're against the reason? Shout out to Be Easy. I don't think I said your name, but shout out to Be Easy, man. Thank you for passing through. Comrades are especially tricky because you'll see that in this space too. The moment you're beefing with somebody, your views and your watch hours will pop up. And a lot of people will come because they hate the same person that you're attacking. They want to enjoy that moment of catharsis when you're dunking on them, when you're slandering their name, when you're calling them out their name. They want to see it. Because they don't like them either. And they'll support you. They'll have you on play. They might even pull up a second device to support you as long as you're attacking the person that they don't like too. They're with that. They're there for that. But the moment, and I'll say I'm a human too. Again, I'm not preaching. This is for me too, because I'm a human. I'll say, and I'll even name it. I'll tell you the person that I feel I did that with was Brother Clarence. Because I was saying something about Black Man Unfiltered. And then, of course, Brother Vaughn went over there. Black Man Unfiltered apologized to him. And they forgave him. They were like, cool, you apologize. We're moving on. Brother Clarence, move on. Cool. Von Bryan, move on. Cool. I didn't move on. I'm like, I'm not accepting that apology. Character doesn't change because of an apology. Let's see changed behavior. So because they didn't have the same enemy anymore, My mind caught on to that. What is up, Dawn Harden? Let's go. Appreciate you being here. So just being transparent, that's the same way that a lot of people do. Oh, you're going to take their word for it, or you're going to accept them, or you're going to back this person after what they did to me. We saw some of that last night on Brother Clarence. Some people came up and was like, hey, I couldn't work with you because you work with somebody who I could never work with. So there's a line of constituency. There's a line of camaraderie. People that will only be with you if you're against who they're against. People that are with you only because you're for what you are for. Man, thank you, Janique, for the Cash App. Man, let me hit my Umar. Man, let me get my Umar. Let me catch my breath, drink some water while Umar is talking.
The Prince of Pan-Africanism is back, showing love to all my donors and supporters. We've been at it for 2 hours and we still got donations to go through.
I'll take that.
See, I get love. Y'all focus on the hate, I focus on the love.
Is that a lot?
That's a lot.
I got another donation. Donations. 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 Donations.
Wow, that's a lot.
Gifts. 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 More gifts. More gifts. More gifts.
Wow, thanks.
I'm muted the whole time. Oh my, I got it. My bad. I love to be muted. I love to be muted. I don't know what that is, but I'm trying to silence myself. As a man, I'm trying to silence myself. And people thought they had friends out here. People thought they had confidants. But as you see, people are keeping and sharing receipts, platform to platform, DMs, back chat, screenshots, recorded messages, emails, marriage certificates. Like it's every channel. All this started off because of people supported or did not support this Pearly person, who, as I said on the jealousy stream, is an idiot. So she stands in proxy for something else that people recognize. Is it power? Is it celebrity? Is it money? Is it status? Is it white supremacy? Is it the way people will defend everybody but black women? It stands for something in everybody's mind, and people thought they had confidence. We're here because we love each other, we value each other, but then you find out somebody values something above you. They value something above your humanity, and that makes you feel a way. That turns you off. That made you angry. I get it. M. Mills in the building. Good afternoon, everyone. M. Mills and crust, salty ass on go. All of the above. And that's cool. Like I said, jealousy is an indicator. I'm not here to shame jealousy. Jealousy and envy come with the territory, like my man Puff said. But know that what it is, what you're jealous of, and why, and deal with it. Does it move you to be better? Does it move you to move better? Does it move you to think better? Or do you sit and stew and all of that? Do you fester? Do you fester? I can't remember that poem, like Raisin in the Sun. Or do you sit and fester like an open sore? Like people are festering. They're holding on to stuff. It's lingering. It's simmering in the background. They're following people from panel to panel to attack them. It's not healthy. At some point, you're not happy. The other person's not happy. So is the jealousy getting you anywhere? No. But these people thought they had forged relationships, but these relationships were forgeries. They didn't have any authenticity to them. As viewers, though, to you all, I'll say it like this. I want to develop an audience that are quasi-confident, not people I want to pour my soul out to. Not that. Not people I want to share my deepest, darkest secrets with. Not that. But I need my audience to be people that can challenge me and challenge each other. Because that was a part of what TDJ said as a confident. That is part of friendship. That is part of an authentic relationship. We can challenge each other towards growth and development. If y'all can't perform that, if I can't perform that, this space is being wasted. It's just more entertainment. And I know I'm not that entertaining. Welcome back, Mandrill. The question I asked when did you get the video? I did not get any acknowledgement that you received the video or were able to successfully download it. Could you put a yes in the chat for me? Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. All right. So what I often find, though, in these spaces is we haven't been taught, or maybe we have not learned how to handle negative emotions. How to handle confrontation, basic confrontation, how to handle criticism. I had to learn it on the fly. Thank you, Metro. I still don't prefer it. I still would prefer to be passive. But I have had ample people disagree with me. I've had plenty of people that have disagreed with me come back and disagree again. We can live through some disagreement. We can live through some difficulty. We can live through some challenge, and we need to develop that amount of resilience in this space. This is a perfect space to practice respectful challenge, respectful critique, response, assertiveness. You know, I can speak up for myself here. This is the perfect place for that because we're behind this. We're behind it. We're behind it. We're behind this wall, this veil. Let's use this space for what it could be great for, that we could develop into people that can handle challenge and critique and learn who our friends are. Not that other people cannot benefit us and we cannot benefit other people, because constituents serve a purpose and comrades serve a purpose. I'm not demonizing anything. What I am saying, though, is we need to learn more about ourselves and the people around us so that we can navigate this world more successfully. That's my overall point. I need people that can challenge me like I need air. Honestly. If I go unchallenged, I don't even feel well. I don't feel well if nobody's saying that I'm wrong about something. I need something to buck up against. I need an idea, a thought. I need it. I think a lot of other people need it too because we keep seeking it out. We keep seeking out challenge. We keep seeking out confrontation, but not in the best way, not in a productive way. I said in that other stream the other day, we keep crashing into each other so that we feel something from that movie, Crash. I believe we're really doing that because we know inherently, subconsciously, we need that, but we're not doing it intentionally. If you believe something, stand on it. Stand on what you believe in. Stand on your values and principles. Even if I disagree with them. I've disagreed with Christians here. I've disagreed with people that were anti-LGBT. What I'm saying is stand on whatever it is you believe on. Don't be movable. And I'm not saying be rigid. What I'm saying is be so rooted in what you believe that you can hear critique and criticism and it doesn't sway you as a human being. It doesn't shake your character. You ain't got to sit there and jitter and dance because it does something to you to hear anybody challenge your thoughts. That's an emotional problem. You can't, you're fragile. Stop it. Get some help, as Bree would like to say. If we think each other are wrong, we should be able to openly say so. We should be able to openly say so. Even if you're wrong about me being wrong, you should have the right to be wrong about me being wrong. And that's okay. We have to get to that space, y'all. We cannot be so sensitive. It's not useful. I don't feel like that I can go in every space. Even spaces that people that I like. I don't feel like I can go in their spaces and say anything that they don't agree with. I feel uncomfortable in spaces of people I like, just having a basic disagreement, not about who they are, but about what they're saying, which stems from what they believe. We can't be challenged. They only want a crowd that is comprised of the other two groups. They want crowds that are constituents, they want crowds that might be comrades. Well, if you rock with him, then you can't rock with me. Okay, you want a comrade. You want somebody that's against what you're against. We have to have people that can challenge us. We have to. It's the only way you're going to grow. It's the only way we're going to grow. Constituents are a tricky lot. They look like a friend. They quack like a friend until you challenge them or disagree. I lost a collaboration like that just recently. Couldn't challenge her on a single thought. If you've been around, you've probably experienced a room or two where if you agreed, you were considered a good person. And if you had any disagreements at all, you may have been timed out. I know I've been timed out for disagreements. Invited to leave. I know I've heard people invited. Well, why are you here? If you don't agree, why are you here? I thought that was interesting. You might have been called names. Might have been trolled. You might have been in other ways mishandled because you have disagreements. Philosophically, ideologically, religiously, politically, personally. It's the reason many of us don't like sharing our political leanings. Because in the wrong room, it means you're going to get interrogated or you're going to get othered. God forbid you have an open and different sexual orientation around some people in this space. If we aren't in alignment, they're going to throw you into solitary confinement. You go be by yourself because you don't get to participate in the group because you're different. You have a difference of opinion. You have a different point of view. You don't belong here. And that's how people will treat you. In an open public space, mind you. But comrades, I've seen quite a few of them. When I was going at other content creators, all the people that didn't like them pulled up to chime in. They was in the chats. Y'all remember them chats? When I did that stuff about Courtney and the Black Man Unfiltered, all them chats was lit. The enemy of my enemy is my friend type vibes. Like, Hanifa put in the chat. Let me pull that back up because I started that joker. They're not your friend. As long as you're going after someone they don't like, they are riding. They are on board. And I'll admit, I have a lot of that in me. I talked about it a little bit with Brother Clarence. I'm a natural born hater. It's in me. I know myself, though. I'm a hater. I'm an instigator. Petty Murphy, all through and through. I'll be in the chat, being petty. I love it. Beautiful vintage. I love it so much. If we have a common enemy, I'm in. I'm just that kind of guy. I'm petty. I'm a hater. That's what I do. I try not to do it on my platform, but it comes out sometimes. If there is somebody you can't rely on, because once there is no enemy, that there is no them either, that's a problem. They're peacing out because ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis. They're not a friend. They're not a confidant. Can't work with them. Can't do it. Let me come back to your question. Come back to Inya's question. Can that be a lot of us egos are so inflated? Egos are big. And unfortunately, content creation calls for ego because it's a form of celebrity. So you're putting yourself before people on a stage. You have to have a certain level of projected ego to even pull off a performance. So having an ego, I ain't really mad about that. It's the way we use the ego. We use it to try to bash other people. Wasn't that a point of starting the YouTube platform? Meaning you're subscribing to their thoughts and ideas? No. See, people are just sharing. See, the YouTube platform gives you like and dislike. So you don't have to subscribe to their ideas. You're just listening. You're an audience. I'm a listening ear and a watching eye. That's all. That's my obligation on YouTube, is to be a listening ear and a watching eye. That's where my obligation as a viewer or audience stops. After that is where I get to begin. Oh, I get to like. I get to dislike. I get to subscribe. I might subscribe so that I can hate watch. All of that is up to me. I get to be a constituent. I get to be a comrade. I get to be a ghost watcher. I get to be a hate watcher. I get to be the person that sits there and waits in the stream till you say somebody's name and I text them And then they get woke up out of their sleep and they show up on Brother Clarence's channel talking about somebody messaged me up out my sleep. We could all do that. It's not particularly productive or helpful, but we could all do it. So no, you don't have to subscribe to somebody's thoughts and ideas simply because they share them. That's actually unhealthy. I subscribe to so many different people that if I subscribe to all of their ideas and all of their thoughts, I'd sound like I was schizophrenic. I listen to Pan-Africanists. I listen to pro-Black people. I listen to Christians. I listen to atheists. I listen to Muslims. I listen to psychologists. I listen to psychiatrists. I listen to people who are counselors who have not gotten a degree in any clinical sense. I listen to women. I listen to men. I listen to men who hate women. I listen to women who hate men. I listen to children sometimes, very rarely. But every now and then they have something to say that's interesting. I listen to old people. I listen to people who don't have an education. I listen to people that do. I listen to Republicans. I listen to Democrats. I listen to everybody to find out where they're coming from and what can I gain from it? What can it do for me? What can it mean for my life? Does it help me sharpen my understanding of the world or myself? That was bad. It was heart-shattering. That was real. That was real. I was crying last night on my shift on that part. Sir, who called you? Go be Vexatil, please. What is up? We got man Drell in the building, man. How you feeling today, sir?
Doing all right. How about you?
Doing good, man. Good to see you. Thank you for pulling through. What did you want to bring to the conversation before I'll throw in some of my rest of my commentary. I'll interject it in here and there.
What I want to throw in the conversation?
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming you came because it was something you wanted to say. I'm assuming.
Yeah, about how you listen to different people and just take their perspectives, you know. So, you know, you pick and choose the right things. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to cherry pick like that. That's what the term chew the meat and spit the bones comes from. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people don't have it's shocking to me how few people are able to do that.
Right.
Like Kevin Samuels used to say that all the time. If you don't like this part of what I'm saying, well, then chew the meat and spit the bones. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like take what's valuable and just and trash the rest of it.
Yes, sir.
People have a hard time doing that, and I don't understand why. You know what I mean? It's wisdom can be found from anywhere. You can't learn nothing from a crackhead. Yes, you can. The crackhead can tell you what not to do, what mistakes he made, so you don't make them. You know what I'm saying? Like people's perspective, it just amazes me that people are grown and haven't learned these kind of things yet.
And see, this is where I'm saying I'm an adult and I'm learning quite a bit on the fly. I didn't get a lot of stuff imparted to me when I was young. After 18 is when my learning started. When I got kind of pushed out of the house at 17, going to 18, that's when my learning started. That's when I started learning about who I was and the world around me because nobody was teaching me that. Because my mom was in survival mode. Anifa did a wonderful stream about mothers not too long ago. And I'm not even holding this against my mother. We've come to peace. I used to resent my mother. I've come to forgiveness. And now I adore my mother to pieces. But when she was in survival mode, she could not teach me. She could not teach me anything that I needed to live because she was struggling to breathe herself. So again, I don't hold it against her. It's just what happened. That's just the facts. So
she was doing the best she could with the circumstances she was in. Yeah.
So I have to accept that deficit that I started with as my starting point. My starting point is my starting point. My circumstances are my circumstances. But it's my responsibility now to grow from there. And everything I'm doing on my platform are the lessons that I've been learning. Like I said, TD Jakes I heard this years ago and it stuck with me. So almost everything you hear on my platform is something that I've heard or seen somewhere else. It benefited me. And I'm going to see if it benefits anybody else. Like that's my ethic.
And how you grow your perspective is by listening to other people and learning from other people. For example, myself, I'm learning from the ancient Stoics. You know, there's a samurai, Miyamoto Musashi. I learned a great deal from him. I discovered him as a teenager. Well, early teenager. I did the Book of Five Rings is a book that I did a book report. And I think when I was like 12 or 13, you know, I still, like, at my mother's house, I still have that book report somewhere. I have no idea where it is. No clue, but it's somewhere there. You know what I mean? but I read Book of Fire Rings then, and all of that stuck with me, and so I started practicing that, and all of this knowledge, like from what you got from TD Jakes and other people, it shapes who you are. It shapes your perspective. However, if you're around like this, myself, and there's another person I got a text this morning from a friend of mine. He says that he might not be on YouTube anymore in the next 60 days. And I know why. It's because for me, yeah, it's too much negative energy. Because I'm almost at my wit's end with it as well. I really am. There's hey and a. There's just far too much negative energy out there. There's only a handful of them that are worth watching. You know what I'm saying? Like people don't know, but I go to Bolo TV, and all he does to talk about is he'll read scripture and he'll talk about it and stuff like that. But I'm there all the time. I'll ghost watch, but I'm there all the time. You know what I'm saying? And it's too much negative energy out here, man.
I
Way
agree
too
with you.
much, and that affects you. People,
No, it
people
does.
leave that part out. It affects you.
It does. I just want to say this really quickly for anybody that watches me, because while I have like 15 people watching, anytime you hear me speaking negatively about something, understand that that's from my perspective and my temperament and disposition. I don't like something. That doesn't mean that you don't have to like it. I might get judgy, but again, my judgment is my own. Those are feelings that I have to live with. I try not to put them on people. You may hear, because I'm on a platform, me speak them out. So you hear them, you ingest them, but you do not have to change your views, your opinion, who you align with, simply because Mandrell kills back to Black Man Unfiltered every time he gets off of here. Every single time. And I will still talk something about the platform over there being negative. So I get to have my feelings, but you still get to have your feelings and your actions separately and independently of my own. So I think that's something else we need to do. Don't allow the influencers to influence your behavior and your thoughts. You can let them give something and offer something, but that's where you should start to filter through it to see what's useful for you and what you agree with. But Hanifa Naila is in the building. Young lady, how are you today?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Hi, Ashawn.
Hey, how you doing?
Up here trying to be single. Hey,
Man,
Mandrell,
listen.
how are you? No, I said I'm gonna just come up and add my little 5 cents, I guess. Um, but you just made a good point about like I can see one platform as negative and somebody else can actually enjoy it for whatever reason. You know what I'm saying? I don't think we understand that even if some of the platforms are negative, and I had to learn that a while ago, it's beneficial to somebody. Now, how you define beneficial varies from person to person. There are people who like I'll say Fight Club, for example, right, is keeping a lot of people out of trouble, believe it or not, right? Because of it's going on in the wee hours of the morning, but it's not the most, some people would say it's not the most healthy space, right? It's Fight Club, right? Or some of the platforms is just kind of like an escape
Yep.
for people from their own realities, right? So who am I to say to them that's not beneficial to you? I had to that's a hard lesson I had to learn, right? But it is what it is, right? And I leave space for everyone to grow at their own pace and at their own rate. Y'all know me, I extend grace, because I've been eating a whole lot of it. So but as far as like generally the space, there's a lot of, it's not friendships. I don't know what you listed the three words. um it's just a lot of temporary alignments that's
Yep.
happening in the space. That's all it is, and that's why it doesn't take much for them to end up in shambles, because it's really not genuine. It's only based on the fact that you align with something, you align with me on our intended target, whatever that target is for that moment, right? But here's the thing, we've seen this happen a lot. You got to be careful with that, because Mandrell could be my target today, Ashan, and then you align with me because you have a beef with Mandrell, but then 2 months later, me and Mandrell good. Where
Yep.
does that leave you? And that happens a lot in this space. I've seen it so many times.
Yes.
People are now collabing who literally were exposing and doxing each other not too long ago, right? And then you, like you were just explaining with Brother Clarence, and I think you were mentioning Black Man Unfiltered. I'm not sure if that's what you
Yeah.
was referring
With
to,
the
but saying that
apology. Yep.
yes, there you go, right. And that's what happened. Not saying that you because you've been rocking with Clarence them for a long time. That's not what this is. Like you're not aligned in with them because of anything with Black Man Unfiltered, but we see it happen a lot in the space. There's a lot of lack of discernment and awareness. And you know me, I'm going to speak about the woman here. I it, I
Get them.
am blown by my sisters. I am blown. Like I am so blown. I'm talking about women in their 30s, 40s. The lack of self-awareness is crazy to me. And for me, I'm just like, a lot of us don't need to be on social media. We need to be sitting somewhere and cultivating self-awareness and discernment so that when you enter these spaces, you can walk away if you need to. You don't have to sit anywhere. Whew, I'm going to stop right there because I'm going in a different direction. But I am watching. I was talking to my husband about this the other day. Ashan, you know how a lot of the men in the space talk about women lacking accountability?
Mm-hmm.
This week, they won me over. These women won't take accountability for nothing. I mean, like nothing. They are doubling down and stuff. They're shape shifting. It's
Yeah.
they're grifting
It's
like
crazy.
hell. And I'm sitting there like, oh my gosh, this is sad. But the
Mm-hmm.
lack of accountability, and you know, I'm not surprised because if you lack self-awareness, you're going to lack self-accountability
Yeah.
because you are not even aware of your dark and your light
Yep.
within yourself. You're not even aware of that. Yeah, and self-esteem too. I agree with that. I wrote something on my community tab about that. So yeah, I might say for
Yeah.
me,
That was good.
the woman is scary. I'm gonna say this last thing. I said this to I was talking to my husband about it, and I said, a lot of these women in this space is dangerous. And I've been
Mm-hmm.
saying this for months, and no one wants to call it out. They are dangerous. And let me explain why, right? I know there's this whole campaign right now that we all love Black people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Kumbaya, hallelujah, unity in the community. Okay? I get that. What makes a lot of the women in this space dangerous is this: they will love the organization, rock with the organization. They will be with someone in the organization. That
Mm-hmm.
someone in the organization, that person hurts them, breaks their heart. They will turn COINTELPRO. They will burn the whole organization just
Mm-hmm.
because of that one person in there. I have seen the vitriol these past couple of weeks from the woman in this space, and people are like, oh, we're women. No, you are wicked as they come.
Mm-hmm.
You are as wicked as they come, but nobody want. And I stay out of this stuff because I know I don't have a filter. I know I don't have a filter. And do I want to be online fighting with people? No, I would rather protect my peace and the peace of my family. You understand what I'm saying? But I watch it. The woman in this space, I've been saying it for months within my own thoughts, they are very dangerous. And
Yeah.
lastly, a whole lot of them do not care about Black men. They see them as utilities.
Yes. Yes.
And the
That's true.
minute those Black men refuse to be utilized in that capacity for their own gain, they turn on them. And they turn on
Mm-hmm.
them very quickly and
Yep.
very easily. I've been saying this. These women in this space are dangerous. I've watched them for over a year. they're dangerous. And a lot of them still carrying biases, hatred, right? What do you call it? What do you call it? What do you call it? Sean.
Resentment.
It's no, it's like okay, it'll come to me. But what I'm trying to say is that they're carrying their own stuff within them towards Black men. But in order to survive and to thrive expeditiously in this space, you have to suppress that, right? You have to hide that very well, right? Because let's be honest, they have to ride the coattail of most of the men in the space. So what does that mean? I can't really show you how I really feel about you. I can't show you that I really don't respect you, right? But then it takes a pearl. It takes a pearl to come in and to expose that. So she's a necessary evil. Don't get me wrong. I'm like, y'all are centering her, right? She is not the issue, right? She's not the issue. Y'all are trying to act like she's the issue, but she's not the issue. The issue has been there. She has just come and peeled back the band-aid or whatever little patch we used to put that on there to cover it up. She has just come and peeled that back. The women and men in this space they don't like each other
at all.
But the women themselves, they will ride the coattail of the men up until the men are no longer in alignment with them. And my last day, I know I said my last, this is the last one, I promise. I wrote a status about this. Here's my other issue in the space. And you know this, Ashan, I am not someone that have hidden the fact that I don't rock with the manosphere. That's not my thing. It's just not, right? So what does that mean? I don't rock with them. So what do? I don't try to collab. I stay away, right? That's kind of how you're supposed to do that, okay? Now, the fact that the woman in the space have an issue with the men propping Pearly up, but not an issue with the men calling single mothers bitches and hoes and everything else is concerning to me. That is concerning. That's what I'm saying. The self-awareness and stuff, that's what I'm speaking to. The message has been detrimental for some time. And you have sat in it because you have been propped up. You have been pedestalized. You have been the person that people have said, oh, we need more such and such. We need more this person. You've been fine with that, right? The men that you are now calling coons and everything else, they have had the same rhetoric for years.
Yeah.
They didn't just wake up yesterday and started speaking like this. But when you were rubbing shoulders with them, right? Where was your concern for the Black community then? Because the last time I checked, Black men is a part of that and Black women. So when Black women were being dragged, when their titties were being dragged across the concrete, and you as a Black woman was sitting there with your head down because you was trying to get ahead in the space, you were fine with it. But now because, and I said this to someone, they have always said other women are better than you. They've always said that. That's always been the vision. So you're trying to tell me you didn't have an issue with the vision, you just have an issue with the manifestation? Miss me with that. And I get very passionate because I like to speak to women. And what I've observed these past weeks, Ashan, is disgusting. Our sisters need to do better. Our sisters need to sit with themselves and really work. I mean, I'm talking about deep work on themselves. You cannot circumvent this work. You cannot cheat. You cannot take a shortcut because something is going to come in and challenge you. And the parts of yourself that you've been trying to suppress, that you don't want to work on, are going to come to the surface, and it's going to be ugly. Because I always say your trauma, if you don't deal with it, it will deal with you. So that's it. I know I went on for a minute. I had a lot to say about that.
Nah, that's some good stuff. That's some definitely good. I mean, those were good, some good insights. So I mean, definitely rock on, because That's definitely a problem. We have some problems. We're not facing our problems. We're not fixing our problems. We are just a lot of times just entertaining ourselves, and it's a distraction. So to New Growth's question about the distraction, I want to address that. But both the women and the men are scary, absolutely, because I'm gonna say one of the reasons they're scary, how they can pretend as if they are for community. They can pretend as if they are for development of men or women, but at the same time carry a complete and utter apathy for humanity, period. They don't care about men, women, children. Only thing that matters pretty much in some kind of way is money when you get down to the base of it. But negativity and aggression abound on both sides. As long as we keep declaring one side evil, we'll never get to the root of the generational pain. Absolutely. But if when you get down to the bottom of everybody's talking points, there's dehumanization. The other people are not people. But it's hard to find, like Hanifa said, they hide it so well. Stop bullying the other women so you can be put on the throne. Yes, another. I'm going to read a poem in a minute. But to New Growth's question, is an escape an automatic benefit? And my concept, and Mandrell, you can jump in. My concept for me is nothing is inherently, there are very few things that are inherently good or evil. I don't like to use that binary. I think a thing just exists. So an escape is just an escape. How does that escape benefit you? Are you escaping to have a moment of reprieve so that you can recharge and refresh and attack your problems head on? Or are you hiding from your problems and letting them continue to pile up and mount so that you're going to have even more trouble, which will require even more of an escape? So for me, like that's how I see concepts. Like jealousy, it's not good or bad. Jealousy is just jealousy. It's an indicator. Do I take the jealousy and like, man, that means I see myself as deficient as compared to Mandrell's got a better backdrop. I'm jealous of the backdrop. Maybe I need to go and improve my backdrop so that I can alleviate the jealousy. Or do I start taking shots, man, that backdrop is trash, Mandrell, to make myself feel better? Do I try to tear him down? So does the feeling or the event try to cause me to build myself up or build someone else up, or to tear someone or myself down? That's kind of how I see concepts like that. What about you, Mandrell?
Yeah, that's my thing. As an issue I have with this whole thing too is like the quality of men is just absolutely atrocious, and the quality of women are no better at all. And you have black women who give black men a hard time who date outside their race, but it's like, okay, what option are you giving us? Like for a guy like myself, right? I can offer a black woman nothing but love, compassion, ear to listen to, shoulder to cry on. You know what I'm saying? She don't have to worry about anything financially. The whole 9 yards. Everything that these women seem to be asking for. Plus, she gets the love, compassion, care, and attention. But they don't want it. Black women, at least. They don't want it. That's the conclusion I've drawn. I love black people. I love black women. I will help in any way that I can. It's just a damn shame that black women don't like me back. Like that's the if you look at it logically, that's the logical conclusion that I have to draw. I have no choice but to draw. All signs point to that. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with them. I can take out, even if I take out, well, there's something wrong with black women. Take that out. Let's say nothing is wrong with them at all. They're perfectly fine. You look at my track record. The only logical conclusion I can draw, ladies, is that black women, they're just not into me. And that's fine. It's their right. I used to be resentful for that. It used to tear me up inside. It's a conditioning. Yeah, it is. It's a conditioning. I agree. It used to tear me up inside, but now I've gotten to the point with, the self-help I've been doing here recently, Arshawn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I've learned that a lot. Like, okay, that's not under my control. So I'm not doing myself any good by worrying about it and thinking about it so much, giving it so much energy. And if someone pisses me off, gets under my skin, makes me upset, I'm complicit in my feelings. You know what I'm saying? I'm complicit in that. Like the way it makes me feel, Absolutely. Me being upset, I'm complicit in that. If someone else makes me upset, I'm complicit. My mind is.
If you stay there, for sure.
Yeah. So even if I'm there for a moment, Not even
you can't help a moment. I gotta interrupt. You cannot help an emotional response. Your emotions are going to kick in without
thing
your
is, your emotions
thought
are
control.
right, but
Like
your
staying there.
response, but your response,
staying there.
if you say, well, Mandrill, you stink, and I just go, what? That part, my reaction is something that I'm completely responsible for. So I'm putting into practice habits where I don't just react when it comes to what people say. I stop, think, breathe, and listen.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? These are kind of habits I'm putting in. I've been putting into effect myself. Epictetus said that. He said he's the one that I was reading Epictetus, and he's the one who says that, okay, if someone makes you upset or angry, you are complicit in the anger. You're mentally complicit in the anger. You know, and that's the thing. I can't control that. I have no say so, no control over what other people do. It's just the logical conclusion is that black women are not into me, because it's for a myriad of reasons. Like what I would notice about people, not only in these spaces but in real life, is that black people, we kind of do the same things over and over again. We go to barbecues, we go to concerts, you know what I'm saying, go to the movies, all kinds of stuff. Whereas myself, next year I'll be in Greece, and I also plan on going to Brazil. You know what I'm saying? After that, I'm planning to go to Spain. So my next 3 overseas trips are planned out. You know?
Yeah.
So, but other people don't want to do that. And I'm just like, why would you not want to do it when you say when you tell me travel is something you like to do?
And that's
you tell me travel is something you like to do, but I'm like, okay, let's go to Brazil. Okay, let's go to Spain. How about let's go to Japan? I don't want to go to Japan. Okay. Well, from this date to that date, I will be in Japan. That is where I will be. You're gonna leave without me? Yes. Yes, I am. You said you didn't want to go, right? Okay. I'll pay for your plane ticket, though. We're gonna be staying in the same hotel room. I'll take care of the food. What are you talking about?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But like, I had to do one shit like that when I went to Brazil for the first time. You know, I went to Brazil without her.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, okay, stay here if you want to, but you tell me travel is what you like to do. You meet a guy who travels, now you get squirrely. You tell me marriage is something you want to do. Well, now when the guy gets serious about you, you get squirrely and you run.
Yeah. I want to address that. I want to address that. I mean, I want to say too much on your personal experience. I don't want to stay too long on your personal experience.
Oh, that's not the last person. That's not the last person. But this is just women over time in my life. Yeah,
right. Yeah. I mean, but again, those are Mandrell's personal experiences, and we need to be able to generalize that so people can understand it and relate it to them. So I'm going to do that in a moment. But let me let Hanifa answer her question, and then we have questions from the chat as well.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask about the jealousy piece. I'm not sure if I heard you right. Were you saying that jealousy is neither good or bad? Is that what you were saying?
Jealousy is not a good or bad. It's an indicator.
Okay, it's an indicator of what?
It's an emotion.
Okay, it's
you have an emotion.
Okay,
there's something. There's a disparity in between where you are and what you want or expect. There's a difference. Like it's a form of cognitive dissonance. Like again, an example. Man, I like Mandrell's backdrop. Tag, I wish I had a backdrop like that. People are going to respond either positively, negatively. Like that's like the jealousy. Man, I like his backdrop. His backdrop is more vibrant than mine. It's more colorful. Do I then go negative? Is my response, like he said, the response is what I control. The response to my jealousy is where the problem is. Do I start shading him? Man, people with them daggone green screen backdrops, man, who you think you are with a green screen backdrop, man? That's lame. Even though I like his backdrop. Or they're like, you know what? Let me invest in myself and try to improve my backdrop so that I can feel I can get that same feeling when I look at my own backdrop. So that's what I mean. The jealousy does not automatically have to be negative. That's a feeling of contention with the concept.
I'm glad you went in that direction, because I just wanted clarity, because I've had to rethink jealousy, specifically as it happens between women and why we are so uncomfortable with discussing the feeling of jealousness, why we are even embarrassed about admitting to having experienced the feeling of jealousy. I've had to rethink that over the years. And I think it connects back to what Mandrell was just saying about the emotions, which you have an emotion and you have a decision to make once that emotion enters into your sphere, right? You say, okay, what is this emotion here to teach me? But we have
Yes.
never learned to do that, right?
Right.
So what happens is we feel an emotion, it's uncomfortable, and we
Yes.
act out. We act
Yes.
out. So instead of sitting with the emotion, which is like what Mandre was speaking to, where he's like learning not to just be impulsive and just reactionary, right? When you feel an emotion, you know what I'm saying? Like for example, I know one of the things you will often see in a lot of okay, like a lot of the work I used to do. One of the things that you would see a lot in the clients, specifically the black boys, is that they weren't really angry, they were sad.
Yes.
But that sadness was being expressed as anger because that sadness, they didn't know that feeling made them uncomfortable. So they resorted right to their default because a lot of black boys, they're trained to be, you're either happy or you're mad as hell. You know what I'm saying? There's no
Right.
flipping in between there, right? So when he was just saying that, I agree with wanted to you did connect it, so I appreciate that. But that is exactly what it is. When he was talking about the emotion piece, is that we need to understand emotions are messengers. That is all they are. They're
Mhm.
bringing you a message, and being able to stop, man. You'll talk about breathing and just waiting and holding and sitting with it for a moment. By the way, it's a moment. It's a moment. If the reason why this stuff sit there and fester is because we don't have the conversation with the emotion. We take the emotion, we tie them up, and we push them in the basement, and then it
Mhm.
sits there and it festers. But if you allow the emotion to come in, serve it some tea, sit down and have a conversation with the emotion is going to say what it has to say, and it's going to go about its merry way. But we don't know,
Mhm.
we haven't learned how to do that. So that's why I asked that question, because it still connects back to what Mandrill had said. Yeah.
Yeah, and I want to greet a couple of people, man. We got Von Bryant in the building, and there was a new face, Sterling. I like that logo, that Seinfeld style logo. Definitely appreciate that. But I had a couple of questions from there. Now, it's a little different, but do some gay dudes blame women rather than come out of the closet? I cannot
Yeah,
speak
I,
for gay dudes,
I
but
can't.
human
Yeah, I was
nature,
about to say.
but human nature would tell me that it's human nature that people will look to blame other people for their discomfort, which is what we're talking about with the jealousy. Like what Hanifa just, people will lash out because of their feelings. We'll try to make it other people's fault by either lashing out. I have a feeling, I'm going to lash out. Or we typically try to shame other people into fixing it. Or you made me feel like, you made me act like, and we blame other people quite a bit. But I won't speak specifically that gay people blame women. I mean, because it's very general, and I know all gay people are just like, there's no monolith of black people, white people, gay people. But human nature is to look to blame somebody else for your inability to make a decision, for your discomfort. That's just something that's going to happen. But you were saying, Medra?
Yeah, no, I was about to ask Hanifa what her thoughts were on what I said. I mean, because from my observation, it seems like our women have really left us no choice but to, for good men at least, because I'm not the only one who thinks this way either. You know what I mean? There's a lot of good brothers, like the men in my circle. It seems like all of us feel this way, think this way. Like, okay, black women just aren't into us. They're not. You know what I mean? Because whenever things get serious, that's when they get squirrely and they run away. But I mean, I've got I got 3 overseas trips planned. You know what I'm saying? And in between that, I'm going to Trinidad and Tobago, the Bahamas, things like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you don't want to be a part of that? I mean, okay, cool. And then I don't. And then
Mandrell,
you offer them,
is
huh?
is it possible, and this is just a question,
Yeah,
is
Mhm.
it possible it's the type of black woman that you're going after?
it could be. But where are the other ones?
go on the trip.
like really, like that's that. I thought about that too. I'm like, maybe it's the type of like chicks I'm going for. I mean, so I'm like, where are the other ones at though?
Wait, so
You know
let
what
me
I'm
give
saying?
you, let me get, you know what comes to my mind when you ask that question? So
What?
you ever had like a car in mind that you wanted and you're like, "Oh, I'm going to get that car." And you go get that, like you just have it in your mind and you go get that car and all of a sudden now you see that car everywhere.
Yeah.
I personally believe that it's a shift in mindset that it's not that those things are out, they're just out of your focus. But
Yep.
oftentimes that they're in your peripheral, they're all around you, they've been there all this time. I give the example of, you find, right, that you meet someone, right, because maybe you're doing some work on yourself and you're shifting in your consciousness, whatever that is. Some
Yeah, I
people
am.
say frequency, whatever, right?
I
So
really am in
then
the
now
process of doing that.
you find that you meet a woman, right, and you be like, where you been? And she's be like, what? I've been living here for the last 10 years.
Yep.
And you're like, I've been here for the last 15. I've never seen you. Sometimes it's just a shift of consciousness, because I use the car as an example where you're not seeing that car. And then you'll be like, oh, now everybody want to have the car. No, the car has always been there.
A shift in consciousness. Yeah. And the thing is, I really am in the process. Well, my consciousness has shifted a great deal with just within this year alone. Like, for example, US Yellow Pill Coffee. Shout out to Yellow. S. Kauai Bree, Yellow Pill, and Arshawn. Ine, she's in the chat. Vaughn Brad, they're in the chat. Ask them within this past year, just the past 12 months, how much of a shift in consciousness, shift in personality, attitude, mindset, and everything that I've had. Because I came in upset at our people. I was legitimately pissed off at Black people because I saw the level that they were at. And I was like, why are these people not better than what they are? Why do they, and more importantly, why do they not want to be better? That's the part that really got my goat, is that the people in these spaces don't want to be better. They're comfortable being where they are. And they complain about where they are. They complain that they don't have more. They complain that they don't have this, that, and the other, but they do nothing to change it. And then when you tell them how to change it or some techniques to use, books to read, to change the circumstances, change their mindset, elevate their consciousness, they reject it. And it really did. That's what. So Vaughn, that's why I came in onto YouTube, carpet bombing everybody's platform. A 360, that means I'm in the same spot. You mean a 180? Yeah. You mean I've done a full 180, Vaughn Brian. But thanks. I understand what you're saying. Right? Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Because if you do a 360, you're pointing in the same direction. But yeah, the thing is, as opposed to me coming in and pointing my finger at people saying, listen, you need to do this, you need to do that, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? And being real stern and firm with people. That approach doesn't work because it only feeds into the energy that they want, crave, and the energy that they're giving out. It's aggression, And so I was like, okay, how do I reach people? How do I reach people? But this isn't working. So I was like, okay, a softer approach might do. I was like, okay, so in order for me to optimize that, let me elevate myself as well while I'm at it.
Oh man.
You know what I'm saying? While I'm at it, I might as well get better too. And so, that's what made me so pissed off at people. And that's why now people are looking at me like, dang, what happened to Mandrell? What the hell? What happened to Mandrell? What's this? Who is this person? And I'm like, who is this person? I'm like, it's still me.
Now listen, Mandrell, this is fair warning. We're spending a lot of time on you in specific, on a broad topic. Now, if we're going to make this about you, we're going to make this about you. And we're going to start criticizing you. If you want to know why women don't pick you, we're going to start picking you apart.
You can pick me apart if you want to.
Should I drop? Because I don't know Mandrell.
That's up to you. But no, it's not going to get hostile. You don't have to. I mean, I'm not trying to take over your platform and make it all about me or anything like that. I just use myself as an example of things that we're talking about.
I got you. That's
all. That's all.
Fair warning, because I will start talking about the company you keep, some of the conversations you participate in, I
Yeah.
would start having. We could start having those because you're going to get judged, especially by a woman, on everything that you do, every alignment that you have.
Mm-hmm.
So, I, Rashawn, not romantically interested, I judge you. So I would definitely expect a woman to do the same. And again, I don't know what her criteria is, but I'll speak to the general point that you made. A lot of people, not just women, they say they want a thing, but they're not actually aware of what it is that they want. They think they know because they've been told that they should want this. Women are being social media trained into believing that they want luxury and that they want trips, they want experiences. It's being regurgitated and repeated so much that it's becoming indoctrination at this point. It's a marketing ploy. It's a scheme. It's a scam. People are spending money. If you look at the consumer debt in America, you know that people can't afford the trips that they're going on because like 95% of the households are harboring like a high amount of consumer debt. It's not practical.
Yes.
With most of the country is one paycheck away from like not being economically viable. Like we're check to check. Even at higher income levels, closer to six figures. Even up there, 60% are straining as far as paying things out because we're expending on things to soothe our feelings because we're not in a healthy emotional space. But that's a conversation we really don't talk about too much. Leah, what's up? Good to see you, Leah. All jokes aside, I can seriously see a great change. Absolutely. Mandrill has changed, but we're talking about a specific person, two specific people. And that's why I really want to turn into more of a general conversation. Well, you were talking about you and somebody specifically, like every individual woman that you were talking about, even though you kind of generalized it, each individual woman that didn't work out with you for a specific reason that we don't have privy to. You know what I'm saying? So it becomes
I don't have privy to them either.
Right. So that's the thing.
It's crazy.
Wait, hold up. Wait, Ashan.
Yes.
Mandrell.
What's up?
So you just out here getting dumped all the time? Is that what you're saying?
A lot of times, yeah.
Really? You're not cutting nobody off? You're not ghosting? You're not
I don't ghost people.
Nope.
I don't do that.
So you're just you're saying because you're saying that the women are usually the ones that don't, well, from your experience, they've been the ones that didn't want it. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Huh. Did you ever ask why? Did you ever get feedback or anything?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you take that into consideration?
I did. Yeah, I did. But I did, and it's always some generic answer.
Sorry, Ashan.
No, it's fine. Yeah, it's always some generic answer. You know, like one was like, well, I don't know. You just. I think you'd be better off with someone from another race. I don't see you being with a black
woman. Ooh, boy. Bree said that too. She said, "Go get your Becky." I didn't start.
Right. I feel like I'm a boy mom, and my oldest son, and I'm about to be real transparent here. I feel like he's gonna go through that. Actually,
he might. I hope he doesn't.
But, I don't want him to, but I feel this. I'm looking at him like he went to the playground, and some children called him a nigger and gay, and my son is 11, and he was taken aback. He was like, "They get to use the word nigger." And then he was like, they call me gay. And I was like, why? He was like, I don't even know. He didn't even understand why. Right. But my son is very kind. He's very kind. Right. And I was talking to my husband yesterday, and I was saying one of the things I've observed in taking the children to the playground is that a lot of our children, Black children, they don't trust kindness. They don't trust it at all.
Yeah.
I had to, and so my husband was saying, you also got to consider the neighborhoods, the culture of the neighborhoods the children are in. There's a lot of factors that go into why, you know what I mean? And so that's something I observe, and I see it with my sons, and I have to sit back and kind of let them hash it out. As long as you're not bullying my children, I just try to let them like hash it out, because it's like, you're going to have to figure it out, because it's a part of socialization. You're going to have to determine whether this is somebody I want to hang with or not. Like, is this person good for me or not? Like, you could guide them, but I try not to get involved, because as long as it's innocent. But I'm listening to you talk, and I'm just gonna be honest as a mother. Sometimes I have that in me, and I look at my son, and I know he is not. I don't even want to use the word typical black child. I don't want to use that word, but I think y'all know what I'm trying to say.
That's what you're saying. Yeah. That's
Okay, I'm struggling for some words here, right? Because I'm trying not to offend anyone. But yeah, I see it in my oldest son. But the reason why is that my oldest son, he has two parents who are what you guys would say are foreigners, right? And so like his dad is older, right? So the person he emulates is somebody who's older. He don't have a younger dad who's into sneakers and shit, right? He just doesn't, right? And then he has me as his mother. But my younger son, my husband is Black American. My younger son is already, he don't got his swag and everything on, the toddler. But that's also a part of, because of who his dad is. That's a part of it as well. So yeah, I don't know. I when you said that, it just triggered that in me. Hey, Bree.
Yeah, and what about the one who said I was ugly and I wasn't tall enough?
Oh, and that's just them. That's preference.
I'm 5'8".
You can't do anything with that.
But my thing is, like, the nerve of you to say I'm ugly to my face.
Well, to them. I was
like,
wow. That's bold. That's a lot.
Right. I was like, wow.
How long before she said you were ugly? How long were y'all dating?
It was like
before she said you were ugly.
It was like the third date.
Okay.
Man,
that was early. You know, so that one. But my thing is the nerve of this chick to say
you got some problems with tight. You got a tight problem.
That's what I'm thinking, Asha.
No, but here's the thing. I don't look for a specific type. If it's a woman,
nah, you do. You just don't know it. You do, but you don't know it.
Probably. Yeah. If it's a woman and she's attractive, then it's like, all right, well, ask her out and see what happens. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But y'all vicious, ladies, black women. Vicious.
Yeah, because I've never run into the vicious women. And I don't know if it's because I'm larger, that safety concerns. I don't know. But nobody's ever been that vicious. Everybody's been very, very cordial if they had a disagreement with them. Concerns? I'm just saying, I'm a large guy. You know what I'm saying? I'm always hearing when I hear women talk from like behind the glass, there's a whole thing about safety, big safety. Men are unsafe. So I've learned, I've understood now that some women, I mean, and it's real. The guy might like nuclear rejection. Like that's why when I hear somebody say Mandrill, somebody called Mandrill ugly to his face, and they weren't afraid of nuclear rejection. They weren't afraid of him snapping. I'm like, that's a lack of respect for him as a threat, as an unsafe person.
I agree.
What's up, Candidate? I mean, because that to me, there's messaging behind what people say and how they say it beyond just a straight communication. That's saying I can disrespect you to your face, and there's nothing you're going to do about it. And I've made that judgment based upon either your stature or your disposition, because nobody in their right mind just hey, you're ugly and you're short. We don't even do that to. I mean, we just don't do it. That's not normal. So
yeah, I was like, yo, the nerve of this.
That's a message. That's a message.
Y'all. Sorry,
hey,
I heard Hanifa say hello. So I was just
hey,
so this what we doing, Mandra?
What we doing?
So you just don't know, huh?
Don't know what?
You don't know why. You just people say when women say vague stuff to you. What do you feel like it's really? You feel like it's something else, right?
I don't know. Just a preference, I guess. I don't know.
Do you think because like have these been people that you were in like actual relationships with and they give you vague excuses, or is this just like
there've been people in actual relationships and it's like, okay, either this person's not thinking or they weren't serious to begin with, or but the real conclusion that I come down to is like, okay, a lot of people just don't know how to be in a relationship, a long-term relationship. They don't know what's involved, you know, like things like, you're not always gonna, like Hanifa can probably, both of you can probably speak to this because you're both married. You're not gonna be in love with your spouse every day. You know what I'm saying? There's gonna be times where you're in love with him. There's gonna be times where you're not, but you still love him.
Yeah, what does in love even mean?
I don't know. I mean, I guess the butterflies and the tingling and all that stuff that you have for that person. You know.
I mean, I'm pretty. That's like a beginning of the relationship thing. That's not a
Right, that part. Yeah, that
beyond that.
The very beginning.
right.
Yeah,
And the
I
thing
ain't
is, you
had
know,
Why y'all
butterflies.
shaking?
I mean, you get
Oh,
a little tingle
butterflies.
in
Yeah,
the
not
puss,
butterflies. Yeah, you're right.
but
No, you do,
you
you
get a little puss
do.
tingle, but I don't get no
You do.
butterflies.
And you also you get those tinglings because when they do something that reminds you of why you fell in love with them, you're like, ooh, you know what I'm saying? But like I
Yeah,
think
like
that there's an over romanticization of love in general. There's a whole conversation to be had even around that. Like even our understanding of just even how we define love. It's just I don't know about all of that. But yeah, in the
That
beginning
sounds like some
stages,
haters.
that's there. But the
we
longer
not
you're there,
haters.
no, it's the truth.
It's just the truth. It's just the truth.
Some
And
candidate.
also, Mandrell, you're very dismissive. Has anybody told you that?
no.
Yeah, you're very dismissive. And I think
Okay.
that can be that could be a deal breaker for some people.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Yeah.
I think what you're dealing with is not hard line deal breakers. I think what you're dealing with is just like dynamic deal breakers, which like is harder because like I'm not gonna tell you something's wrong with you because we don't vibe. You know what I mean? Just because like we don't,
Mm-hmm.
our dynamic isn't good. I'm not necessarily like even if you were like when I dated people, if they were to say why did it not work out? Sometimes it's just like a vibe, like a synergy thing. Like my
Yep.
dynamic with your dynamic. So I don't really feel like it's my place to tell you something's wrong with you because it may not be anything wrong with you. It's just like us together does not really vibe. Maybe it's because of something I need, um, an emotional need of mine, or a security safety need of mine. It can be stuff like that. I think when you get vague answers from people, it's either like habit stuff that people don't want to tell you to change because it's a habit. It can be just, I think it's usually those kind of things if you're getting vague responses.
Okay. So we
Yeah.
seem
But at
dismissive.
least you got some honesty too, because if you said the one lady said that she thinks you're better off with a different race, which I think
Yeah.
is crazy.
That was
Which is
hilarious.
I already told Mandrill that actually I agree.
yeah,
I was like, hey,
yeah, I
yo,
mean, that's what's
what?
like, who's the pool of women? Because like it's one thing to say you like to travel because it's in your head, but it's the next thing to actually have a damn passport and actually travel, right? And I think a
Right.
lot of people
Right.
talk about I like to travel, and they only been
Yeah.
out the country one time, or they just been state to state. Traveling for them
Right.
is going from one state to the next. So you got to kind of like sort through that as well. But I think
Yep.
for me, I've always said that the way we do relationship is really dishonest. Like I think that people ghost in fear of confrontation, right?
Hmm.
Yep.
Like, and so her being able to say to you, hey, I think it goes to what Bree's saying. Like, I think she was just trying to say we just don't mesh, right? We just,
Mm-hmm.
and that's
Right.
okay. That's okay. But I don't know that it should be a blanket statement on black women in general, because you haven't dated all black women. I think you've just dated a
Right.
certain type of black woman, to be honest. I mean, I don't
Right.
know you, but
But
I feel like Bree knows you better. So yeah.
But no, I just feel like when people say that, it's not to say that you can't find a black woman who's gonna fit that.
Right.
It's just maybe the hobbies you engage in, the spaces you go for your
Mm-hmm.
social hangouts aren't places that are frequented by black
That's
women.
true.
Therefore, you may end up dating outside of your race. I always say just go do the stuff and look around, and that's your dating pool. Like that's how you figure out who's available to you. You go do the stuff, go do the social stuff, and the people you see around doing the social stuff that you're doing are the people that are available for you to date.
Now that makes sense. But
Yeah.
my thing is, when you say I'm dismissive, could you
You
give
are.
me an example?
Yeah, anytime something doesn't fit your mental model of how it should be, you dismiss it as they have a deficiency when they may not.
Okay.
They may not have a deficiency. They may know how to do long-term relationships. They just don't want to do it with you.
There you go. That's the thing too. But
And
that's just
most people are avoidant. They're not gonna
well. The thing is,
be
what I'm
like,
trying to do when I say things like that, what I'm trying to do is rationalize it, and I think that's the problem. I'm trying to make sense out of something that doesn't make sense.
which is
Yeah,
also a
because you
character flaw.
Yeah, you don't have enough
Huh?
information to make a. You don't have enough
Exactly.
information to make a solid
To make
judgment, but you're jumping
right
to it. You're jumping to it without any. You know,
without
you're
all.
leaping to a
Yeah,
conclusion. Yeah, you're leaping to a
yeah.
conclusion.
I'm solving an equation without having all the variables.
Yeah,
So, but I mean, I just got this
That's
ridiculous
a
need for
defense
things to make
mechanism.
sense. It is. It
yeah.
is. It definitely is. I just want it to make sense. You know
It
what I
ain't
mean? And
gonna
it
make
doesn't.
sense.
It doesn't make. Yeah, exactly, Bree. It doesn't make sense. So you hear me say stuff like that? That's honestly all it is, Bree.
Well,
You,
stop. Stop it. Get help.
Stop it. Get some help.
I am getting
Candy,
help.
Get help.
I'm in therapy right now.
You could be disappointed and upset and you're like, I try not to be harsh, but I hear some men talk about it. It's like sometimes you're not gonna be good enough for some people. That's all right.
Yeah.
That don't mean you're not good.
for a lot of people, for
Yeah,
a
that
lot of
doesn't mean
people,
you're
sometimes, yeah.
right. That doesn't mean you're not good. Good, like you don't have the capacity for some people. That doesn't mean you aren't capable.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was talking about on my stream, I have a neurotic tendency towards depression. So there are just some type of people I don't have the capacity. I would never be a good wife for them because I'm going to get
Mm,
depressed and I'm not going to give a fuck about what I'm supposed to do. And if
mm,
you take
Now,
that personally, I couldn't be with you.
I do want to ask this question though, because I was thinking about this too, because I think we skirt around this a lot. What are we saying when we say you probably need to date out? Like let's actually bring language to that, because we were talking
mm,
around something without saying it.
mhm,
Because I know we're talking about temperament sometimes, we're talking about interest. We might even
Um,
be talking about looks sometimes. So what are some of the different things that we're saying? Like if a woman, hypothetically, if you were to say, like you said, Brie, you said, I told him
mhm.
he should date out. What are we actually trying to convey in more specific and grounded language?
That the interest that Mandrill has and the things he participates in his real life aren't really adjacent to a lot of black women. So I'm just saying the women you're probably gonna run up on. It's like the dude who was on Kendra G and he does like fencing and like weird. It was like stuff black people don't do, and I'm like, and then Kendra G was giving him a hard time about mostly dating white women, and I'm like, well, he's doing fencing, like he's hanging out at country clubs. Like, who is he really gonna be just running up on black women? Like, if you look at the social activities a person engages in, you're
Mm-hmm.
probably gonna meet people when you're doing social stuff. So if your social activities are very like not typically black adjacent, you probably should date people who share your interests because that for me that's like a good way to start a relationship.
I want to
I,
say
I I
real quick.
agree. Sorry, go
Go
ahead.
ahead. Now, this will be
No,
real quick.
yeah,
This
go
will be
ahead.
real quick. I think we're saying two things that Hanifa can address. One, they're talking about your personality type. You don't have that alpha personality, that domineering personality, or what Bree is talking about. I'm gonna put the word culture on that. You don't have the black culture. But go ahead, Hanifa.
I was gonna say that. I was gonna say that, which is
Yeah.
unfair, right? Which is unfair generally, speaking. But that's exactly what's. I don't know that it's alpha. I think it's this idea that this is what black manhood looks like. That a lot of black women have. I actually think it's oftentimes when you find out what it is, it's a very toxic male that they're
Yeah,
talking about. And I'm
yeah.
just being honest. Um, and this is why you have to ask. For me, it's like ask why as many times as you need to. Ask as many questions so that you could really understand what's being said. Like what you just did, Asha. Like, okay, let's talk about what's really being said when that's said to you. Like that person is saying, I think Bree just said it, is saying to you that you're not black enough for
Yep.
them
I've been
based
told that
on
to my
what
face too.
their idea of black manhood is. That's what that boils down to. It was something else I was also gonna say. As far as oh finding people that have your same interest. Here's the tricky thing with this. And
Right.
look, y'all know me. I'm Pan-Africanist. I don't hide it. Okay. For me personally, I say this to anyone. Like, and I've asked this before on a show that I was on. If there's not enough black men to go around, we were talking about black women, black men relationship, right? And if we're going to be honest, we're going to say every black woman will not find a black man, right? Most of them, right? Not most of them, but everyone will not. What happens to the ones who They aren't able to. What are they supposed to do? I asked the question for men too. If you have a Mandrella, you're saying, oh no, there's black women out there that have your interest, but we know that it's not the majority, right?
Yeah.
How long should he search? How far? How wide? Right? How long should he wait? Like those are questions that I've asked to my fellow brothers and sisters, right? Who is, black people should be with black people. That's their line of thinking. But there's a conversation that still needs to be had that's rooted in reality. What is the reality that we're facing? Where are you
Fact.
telling these people that they're supposed to be forced into celibacy, right? Because everybody likes some good ding ding and some good pum pum, right? I'm just saying, like, you're asking people to just sit, by themselves, be single day in and day out until most black people are not even traveling outside the country. So now their pool is they're only picking from the pool within America at this point. So what is it that we're really asking people to do? You get what I'm saying? We're asking people to do what? Be lonely?
Yep.
Simply because they can't find in the pool of black women who are interested in, certain, let's be honest, how many black women are into skiing? Right? I'm just
Yeah.
saying. I mean,
I'm just
I think that we
saying.
have to have right. I think we have to have honest conversations about these types of things. So if he's saying, well, I can't find them,
Yes.
it's not enough to just dismiss and be like, no, you're just making an excuse. No, have the conversation. And he's saying, hey, I would prefer a black woman, but here's
Right.
my issue. Here's what
Mhm.
I'm running into. So then let's have that conversation, right? And how
Yeah.
big and how small the pool is, if we're being honest, when we're talking about people's different interests. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? I know for a fact there are things that I like to do that most of the sisters around me are not into. Right? I like to get up on a good day, get on the train, and this is my self-care day, and go museum hopping in DC. That's my shit. Okay?
Yeah.
But that's something I do with myself. A lot of black women are not, I'm not saying that they're out there, but I'm just saying they're not doing that. Right? And there's a whole ton of other, I'm not even going to say it on here, that I'm interested in, that a lot of the sisters that I know are not interested in. Right? But then there's a lot of things that I have in common with black women, which what you're talking about is culture. You get what I'm trying to say? So I think there's a conversation to be had around that. I don't think it's just you're not alpha. I think it is their idea of what black manhood is supposed to look like. And oftentimes when you kind of like unlayer that, is a bunch of toxic traits, by the way.
Yeah,
Bullshit.
yeah, but a bunch of toxic traits, a bunch of lying and whatnot. Because I see what passes for an alpha these days in black men, and I just shake my head at it. I'm like, this is such juvenile behavior. A bunch of men who are emotionally unintelligent. They don't know how to communicate. You know what I'm saying? And then they curse women out. I'm like, what do you think you're gonna get with that? Why would you talk to her like that? It's unnecessary. But for some reason, women cling to those guys. I don't understand. I do not. It happens all the time, man. I do not understand it.
You don't have
But
to.
that's true. I don't have to understand it. But when you get a guy who's like, I'm the type of person, I'm not gonna argue with you. I'd rather have a conversation. If there's a
And
problem,
that's
let me know what it is. Okay, this situation, that's my fault. Because I'm quick to take responsibility for things that go wrong. I am.
Mm,
I'm
I'm
quick to
hearing a
hold
lot of
myself
red
accountable.
flags, man. I'm hearing a
Hey,
lot
I'm
of
quick
red
to.
flags.
Hey, maybe. So I mean, maybe, but my thing is, if I can fix it, I will fix it. I'm willing to. I'm willing to work with you.
I'm hearing, I'm reverse engineering a type from everything that you're saying. And it is the stereotypical black woman. No, so like what Yella said earlier, she is not going to be into you providing a structure because there will be some level of that feminism residual of independence, and that even like the men are not in the home, so you need to be able to take care of yourself. There's going to be a lot of layered feeling of I have to be autonomous, I have to have agency, you're not going to take away my say. There's going to be a lot of that, and you're very structured and regimented, especially being military background. There's going to be a rejection of that. Then I heard you say that you take accountability and don't like to argue. Not even trying to be funny and shade my black women, but taking accountability and not liking to argue can be seen as passive. Because I've heard women in person, not even on panels, I've heard women in person say that if you're not fighting with me, I don't think you love me. I've heard that out of people's mouths. Huh?
I
Are
want to
you
be
crazy?
handled. I want to be
I want to
handled.
be
That's
handled.
another one.
Absolutely.
Yep.
What does that even mean?
They want you to be rough, aggressive, and domineering. And how that manifests in the online space, you hear oftentimes, I need him to be so alpha or dominant that I naturally just fall into my femininity. You have to be so hyper aggressive that you overpower any aggression that they bring to the relationship. There's a
It's
lot of that
toxic.
dysfunction. It is toxic.
That's
It
such a
is
It
toxic
dysfunction.
no,
way.
no, it's toxic and dangerous. It's toxic
Yeah.
and dangerous because what I know about women that do that,
Mhm.
they like that and they come into the relationship, and if you don't bring that, they will try to bring that energy out of you.
Mhm.
That's the dangerous part of it. If you don't show that, they will try to test you to bring that energy out of you as well. And that's the dangerous part because it's like, I'm going to try to make you jealous. I'm going to try to do this just to see, to get a reaction out of you, right? It's just toxic. That to me,
Yeah.
and I know I'm using the word toxic a lot here because that's the only word that comes to freaking mind. It is toxic and it is dangerous as hell.
Well,
Wait, I have
I mean,
but then they
sorry, go
complain
ahead.
about guys like that though. They complain about
I
that
mean,
kind of
but you
relationship
see,
that
you
they're in.
spending too much energy worried about people who not you dating people who not you.
Right.
So really, at the end of the day,
Yeah.
if you're not that dude, then that's not the type of women you should be dating.
That's true.
But the
Yeah.
reality is, you have to take account for the people you're saying. If you're like, I want to date a black woman, you have to realize there are certain things in the black community that are just normalized dysfunction.
Yes.
And it sounds like you're not taking account for that.
Yeah.
Okay, but so if you took account of the normalized dysfunction, you're like, well, that's not what I want. Then there's a high chance you're going to end up dating somebody not in the said community you're saying you want.
Yeah.
Like, why does she have to be black? If it's really just a preference and not a something else, then why does she have to be black?
What
So I
what
really
kind
feel like
what
the
kind,
black women that you're dealing with are of a certain, I would say, class
yeah.
structure. I would think for what your temperament and everything, you probably need to deal with a woman that's 40 and above and has a certain level of like, I know this is very Kevin said, a certain level of income. You need to reverse that conversation. You need a woman of a certain income and class level that's going to not want drama, like M Mills, not don't like drama. You need somebody that makes more than the 40 to 45, 50, whatever. Everybody's median income. You need a woman that makes above the median income and has made above the median income for the last 5 to 10 years. You need somebody who's been stable for a really long time so that her mind is suitable to stability and not instability. And anybody that's had economic issues, challenges all their life, instability is going to be their first nature. And it sounds like your mind, you somehow have gotten drawn, you either draw or are drawn to people that have instability in their background. So they look for the hallmarks of instability because that's comfort for them. So you need to find somebody that has been stable, that is stable in all of the ways and then he looks stable. Thank God. I'm sick of looking at all these guys that haven't had a job you need stability, and you need somebody that also needs stability. You need to match stability with somebody.
Sean, he has probably passed that woman you're describing many times.
Maybe.
I can promise Mandrell. I like Mandrell say he's working on himself. So for me, I would just say keep working on yourself because that's how you kind of develop new sight. I'm telling you, oftentimes those things are right around us. We just don't see them because whatever wavelength we're on, that's oftentimes what it is. You hear people say that all the time. I started working on me, my mindset, all of that. And then all of a sudden, boom, and it's like, oh, and she lived in the same neighborhood as me all this time, or we've been going to the same church or whatever that is. So I would say as he continued to work on himself, I feel like he's just gonna develop like new sight, and eventually, and it don't, like they said, it don't have to be, it's pun pun really. It don't have to be I don't know. I feel like you might be glued in to a certain type. And we have to be, let's be clear, we didn't fall out the sky, right? Our personalities are from our experiences, our culture, all of these things inform and build our personalities, right? And what you're attracted to, what you're not, all of this, it plays a part in it. The neighborhoods you grew up in, the families, what did they do? Did your family travel a lot? Or were you just confined to just like that city area? You never left the state. There are so many factors at play in what we find ourselves attracted to, right? And as you start to change and shift out of a lot of that, all of a sudden, I like to say your taste buds change, to be honest. What you're
Facts.
attracted to begins to shift. You get what I'm saying? Like that happens. So I don't want you to underestimate the work that you're doing on yourself. I think that as you continue to do that, you'll start to see a lot of different types of women who are going to step up to meet that new person that you're becoming. So don't get discouraged, and stay open. What the heck? Stay open. You better go find that girl that like to whatever it is you like to do. She want to go to, where you say you going, Mandra? To Brazil and all of these other places. Like, I don't know, join a travel club or something. Do people still
That's what I'm
join clubs? I
saying.
don't know.
Go
Yeah,
to go
get
to
out
like
there.
earlier I said go to meetup.com. Just go to meetups around the city. Like they don't have to even be like when I moved, that was one of the best things I did. You just go to meetup.com, go do some stuff around town, hobbies, and you will meet friends and you'll meet all kind of people you just wouldn't meet otherwise. So go to social spaces where people are also going to be social. And don't go looking for somebody to date. Just go have
Right.
fun. And that's like one of the best ways to meet people.
You calibrate your vibe to the spaces
Yeah.
that have the people that you want in them. Because I would
Yeah.
say what I'm hearing, like when I was talking about the woman that you're attracting, God, there's gonna be another shot, but I can't help it. This is the way I think. The woman that you're attracting is the one that would be attracted to the guys on the panels that you sit on. Like you attract the woman that would like the guys that you are constantly in the space and face in. All those aggressive, homophobic, misogynistic guys, the women that would like them are the ones that you've been dealing with. But you don't need to eat from the same trough. If you have a different mindset, you're around them for whatever reason you're around them. But the issue is the woman that I'm talking about that you probably will like the stability, she's going to judge you for your acquaintances, and she should. That's the other.
I have a
That's the
question.
other side of the coin.
I have a question because Ashan go take a dig at that panel every chance he
Go
gets.
Ooh,
ahead. Go ask your
Yeah.
question.
ooh.
I have a question. Do you think that sometimes, um, like, okay, like how Mandrell is saying, like, I'm trying to understand why I keep linking with these types of women, right? Do you think that sometimes we have, like, we want a certain thing, but that's not what we're attracting? Do you think that we know that there's a part of us that the reason why we're attract, let's say I'm gonna use the word toxic again, maybe you're attracting toxic males, right? So it's the same type of male or man, but just in a different body. It's the same energy, the same spirit, but in a different body, right? Do you think that even though we have our desires of what we would like, that we are sometimes in denial about who we are at
Yes.
that time? Okay, because I see that a lot where it's like, no, but that's not what I want. And it's like, but that's what keeps coming into your space. So there's something to that right there. And but why? What is it, a lack of self-awareness, you think, that we are not willing to
Yes.
acknowledge? Okay.
Yes. I was gonna say, you know what? If who would date Mandrill? If I was an opportunistic woman who wanted to social climb, maybe I'm a little older, but I see an opportunity because he makes good money. He seems like he's stable. Like I could, and he seems pliable enough because he doesn't really seem to stand on any particular thing. If I tell him something's wrong with him, he change. He do whatever I told him to do because I'd be like, "Oh, this is wrong with you." I would probably have to be I would have to be like someone who would exploit someone. Like I would use like you're a nice guy. Like you seem like a nice guy. So you're gonna draw a certain type of woman into you, especially in the spaces you hang out. It's gonna be a woman who hasn't achieved all the things she says she likes to do, but she likes to believe that she is all the things she says she likes to do. So like maybe she might make like, oh, I make 60K. So I like to believe that I like to travel, but I don't actually make enough to travel. So I'm gonna use you to fund my traveling, but I'm only gonna want to go where I want to go. So the women you're gonna draw to you are gonna be a certain type. A lot of that is because of how you come off. Um, you are it's like kind of chameleon like, but it doesn't feel like it's chameleon behavior based on insecurity. It seems like it's some sort of built-in program that you feel like you are the fixer and it's your job to fix wounded birds, or it's something like, it's not like you're insecure, but it just feels like you feel like your duty as a man is to do something. And so it makes you so willing to sacrifice yourself just for whatever purpose you feel like you're supposed to do it for. And when you translate that to a woman, mm, like who you're gonna get is toxic. Like you're gonna
Hmm.
get a toxic type of woman. She's going to be a wounded bird. She's going to be desiring something more from life. And it's not gonna necessarily be you. You will just be like a means to an end. So I just feel like that's the type. As you are right now, like you're working on yourself, like she said, so that's gonna be good. I would say like just live, like just go do the things you like to do, because I think that will also change the frequency that you're like hanging out in and like who you run into, because it online as well, like I would never date anybody I met online, period, especially in these kind of spaces that you hang out in online. So I'm just saying, like maybe more real world, actively doing the things you enjoy doing besides jujitsu, because that's kind of going to be very specific. I think you should change a lot of that, because right now the like where you're hanging out and like it's something about how you feel like you're supposed to be in the world. I don't know. It's just what I feel. I don't have articulation.
Well, a lot of that is right. It's true. I do have this need to fix things. You know what I mean? So when you said the whole thing about healing wounded birds, that actually struck me. You know what I'm saying? So there's something to that. And I do have principles that I stand on that I don't move on, like at all. You know, and there are people who there are people who have tried that and get pissed off when I don't move on them. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm not moving on it. This is how I am about this subject, and that's that. You know, but yeah, there's a lot of truth in what you said.
Yeah, and that's
I've
confusing
I
too. That's confusing. Like if you seem like you're a chameleon, but then when I actually date you, you're like very firm and unmovable. The type of woman that's initially attracted to you isn't gonna want to stick around because she doesn't like that structure.
Oh,
I've
okay.
seen I've seen what Bree's talking about from the other side, which is interesting to listen to this conversation because we talk about the caretaker type from the angle of a woman, like from
Mm-hmm.
the role of a woman, where women end up, dealing with what you call what you said, broken birds. I don't know what you said, but yeah, they pick those type of men because it's like, I'm going to fix you. I see the potential. We talk about it more so as it pertains to women, but we don't realize that there are men out there who do that. Like I had an ex, he was the second oldest of 13 children, right? So he was always in that caretaker role, always. And that is how he showed up in relationships. Like I said, we don't fall out the sky. These things mold us, these things shape us, and it's not always trauma. Sometimes it's just life experiences that kind of shape you into the person you are. Sometimes it's your own personal life experiences. But we always talk about that caretaker role that Bree's speaking about, where you feel like you need to take care of, fix something, but it's always about women, but a lot of men do it too. There's a lot of guys that do that. But we don't really hear much about it. So that was interesting, that exchange. Yeah.
Yeah, very. Yeah, you're right. A lot of guys do that, and when you do that, for some reason, it's seen as weakness for whatever reason. But at the same time, when you listen to women, they will say that they want that. A lot of women will say that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of women say they want that, you know. But what
That
I
they
found
want
is that
what? Wait,
they
be
want a guy
clear,
to help.
Mandrill.
They want a guy who's helps them fix their issues, helps them out. You know what I'm saying? Like not just financially, but I think there's for the
Bree, don't
longest
make
time
me don't make me snap, Bree.
Wait,
for the
prov-
longest time, I think I misinterpreted that. A lot of times they don't really want you to fix anything; they just want to be heard. They just need you to sit there and listen to them, and I'm fine with that. If I don't have to fix anything, okay. What do you need? What does she need? She need me to sit here and listen to her? Okay, I'll do that. You know what I'm saying?
let's not conflate taking care of me and fixing me. There's a difference.
Yeah, I can't fix anybody now. You got to do that on your own.
Right. No, but you just said most women might say they want to be taken care of. But not, I don't know any of us that be out here like, I need a dude that can fix me. You know what I'm
Okay,
saying?
I'll find you some clips. I'm gonna find you some clips then, and I'll send them to you because
Okay,
he's not making that up.
really?
No, I agree. I think women say like they want you. They may say, "Oh, I want him to make me better," or "I want him
Right?
to help
Oh,
me."
okay.
And I wasn't saying because I wasn't agreeing with him. I just think it's taken concretely to some degree,
Mm-hmm.
and what a lot of people talk about symptoms of collaboration. Like a lot of people talk about outcomes of collaboration. Like when they say what they want, they're talking about things that you see collaborative couples do for each other,
Yes.
but they don't realize that that's actually a side effect. That's supposed to be a secondary or a symptom of collaboration. It's not something
But
that you just come in and do with no collaboration. So I think I think in a collaborative relationship, you do that. You do help each other grow
I
and build each
agree.
other up and like help each other become better in some
Mm-hmm.
ways. Like not better as in I can cure your disease and fix your mental illness, but better as far as like I literally could not have achieved this by myself. I think that's what people mean, but I think people are taking it a little bit concretely, and they're
I
so
think
willing to
I,
do
Yes.
that.
I think I don't know. Yeah, you're gonna have to show me that because I feel like when women talk about I I've heard this. I want him to make me better. I don't think that that's connected to brokenness though. I think it's connected to resources. You know what I'm saying? I feel like when women say that, it's not necessarily like I need him to fix me per se. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's like I need him to level me up. And again,
Mm-hmm.
that still connects back to his resources. I don't know. I could be wrong here.
I hear
Yeah,
you. I hear what you're saying. The issue is a lot of times the people that we're talking about, the people specifically that we're talking about, especially that Mandrell is attracting, is the type of woman that goes on to Kendra G and says a lot of the things that you're saying, but they don't understand the principles behind it, like Bree is saying. People are looking for the outcomes without the work that creates the outcomes. They want to jump to Z and not work their way through the alphabet. So that's who Mandrell is attracting, or for whatever reason. For whatever reason, that's what's going on. They do say those things like they want to make me better, but I've heard teach me how to love. I've heard things around like fix me, help me heal my trauma. I've heard things as if, and I've heard it from men and women. So it's not
Okay.
just a gender thing. I've heard people expect too much the same way we do about, I'll say, police officers. We expect, and teachers, we expect people to fill roles that they're not supposed to. You're my preacher, you're my therapist, you're my doctor, you're my nutritionist, you're my personal assistant, you're my lover, there's too many different roles that we're trying to heap on the other person from a place of deficiency. So the person that's hearing this knows, oh, you're broken and you want me to fill in the gaps of your brokenness. So as the man, I'm going to interpret that when you say, I want you to help me do this. Oh, you didn't learn how to adult, or you did not learn how to effectively communicate. Oh, there's a deficiency here. So you do want me to fix you, or at least to fill in the gaps of your brokenness. One of the two. Accept your brokenness and fill in the gaps, or to fix you. We are concrete thinkers. But from you, when you're saying it, that's not your intent. Your intent is, like you said earlier, Hanifa, there's a vision in my mind of what this looks like, the outcome. I'm envisioning the outcome, but my words don't get you to where my mind is envisioning. So we end up with that issue. I'm trying. Do you keep trying to fix me? I'm not broken. Well, you told me you were broken when you said you have no ability to show up anywhere on time. You showed me that you're not a mature person. So you wanted me to fix you when you told me that. You wanted me to stay on you about showing up and getting ready and get up on time and don't push snooze. You wanted that. But that's the way my interpretation of what your outcome was.
I got you. Okay. I got it.
Yeah, I don't know. You just can't, and that's why I was talking on another stream about when people date or talk about dating on panels and stuff. I think people are too quick to give sociopaths the blueprint of how to look like a good partner. And I think that's why people waste a lot of time too, because people are sitting down on these dates and having job interviews, and it's like, it's something about the way people date. Like, you're having all these conversations and we're having all these, and this is what I want. And it's like, okay, like, can we just talk about how like conversations are fine and talking about things, but people are doing way too much heavy conversing on the front end. And you're basically giving psychopaths, narcissists, manipulative people, sociopaths the blueprint to how to seem like a good partner to extract value from you. Whereas if you just experience people and like hang out with people and, like Rashawn was saying, take some of the weight off of it on the front end, you could just observe that person and just see if they vibe with you. Too many people are having conversations trying to tell people how to be with them. It's like, I just want to see people stop pushing that. It's not, we just don't have the community for that to be an effective tactic anymore. You don't have people who are growing up in the same culture, even religion half of the time, like, we just don't have that kind of culture to just do that. I just need people to stop. Realize you're probably giving psychopaths the blueprint to how to seem like a good partner to you. And then the time comes, usually 6 months in, where they can't do it anymore. And now you realize they were a psycho the whole time.
The Jesus photo always cracks me up. What's up? What's up, yo?
Hallelujah.
He must be.
All right, can y'all hear me?
There you go. Yeah, there you go. What's up, Mike?
What it do? What's good, y'all? Just got to the crib. I'm gonna pull up and insert my little brand of toxic in this conversation. Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Man, look, argue, be toxic, be emotional, complain, do all that shit. Because not doing it don't mean the relationship don't work. Do all of that shit. Be picky. Do all of it. Do all of it, bro. Because like Bree was saying, folks is out here giving out the how to appear as a good partner thing, men and women. So for you, the best thing to just do is be you. Be all of that toxic shit. Be all of that shit. For real. Because it ain't it, man. Look. Mandrill, grow a beard, bro. Like, for real. Like, I'm saying, I was saying in the chat, and Rashawn ain't read my message. Grow a beard, bro. I'm telling you. I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you. I don't know how the facial hair working over there. I know it works wonders for me. Okay. Jesus had a beard. I had a beard. I'm living in my Jesus energy. Okay. Grow you a beard, G. They love it.
This guy.
What? All right, now shut
it. See how Jesus come in and just
the
turn over
women
the
like
tables.
the beards.
They
like the beard.
I'm saying.
Some of us don't have much of a choice. We just got to live without it. But you got to compensate. You got to compensate.
Make sure got enough money. If he can't grow one, he can go get one stuck on. Like, he got enough money. You know what I'm saying?
You go compensate, man.
He gonna get the fake man. Look, and can't nobody judge you, bro. Don't get the fake one. Just make sure it look good.
And stop doing all that talking on the front end, telling her how to act like a good partner. People know how to answer questions. Y'all ain't never job interviewed nobody. People know how to answer questions.
Yes, they do.
Shoot, I was a manager on the floor, boy. I'm telling you, I sat in on a lot of job interviews, and I also had to manage these same people who were sitting on the job interview talking about their strengths and what they bring to the table. Then I have to be running codes with your ass, and you don't even know what medicine I'm talking about. Okay? So once again, people know how to answer questions. Stop. Sometimes you need to do a little less talking on the front end about what it's going to take.
So are we saying toss the list that people may have of whatever their, what their disqualifiers are, whatever that is, or are we saying uh don't make the list that obvious, just flow and in conversation and have
Yeah.
fun, because the things that are disqualifiers are going to show up within the interactions with the person anyway. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah.
Yep.
Because I think there's a multiple. I don't have to ask somebody how much money they make to kind of get an idea. If I'm just experiencing them or hanging out with them, just kicking it with them, I know generally how much my friends make, and I've never asked any of them directly because I just watch what they do. Like I have a friend, she only has a mortgage. She travels. I'm gonna go to Spain next week. Okay, clearly she make a lot of money. Like she just went to Spain. So I mean, so I'm just saying, like, you don't actually have to ask some of these questions people are asking on the front end. If you actually just took a little bit of time, low risk time, like you don't have to be smashing, you shouldn't be spending all this money, taking them on these crazy dates. Just hang out with people, see how they are, have your list, but it should be internalized. And yeah, you can actually glean a lot about people from just talking to them and hanging out with them.
I feel like social media have also made that worse, to where we want things like instant gratification. We want to know things right now. And so really trying to relate to people, actually interact with them, whereby those questions are answered. I think a lot of people just don't, I don't even want to say, don't feel like they have the time. So for them, it's like, and then you have people who have been in relationships, right? And then I think Mandrell, I don't know if Mandrell answered the question about the six, like how long before the relationship break off. But there are people who have those experiences where, and again, I think it goes back to they just weren't paying attention, to be honest, or they were just ignoring like what would be red flags for them for whatever reason, because maybe he had a beard and she loved his beard. You know what I'm saying? And so she ignored the fact that he smacked when he chewed, whatever that is. But I'm just saying that I think that a lot of people they feel like I don't have time to waste because maybe they have been in relationships before, right? And then like they had given a year or two and then that relationship doesn't work. So they come out of those relationships saying, I will never do that again. I will never waste that amount of time. And so what they're really trying to do is avoid going through that pain and that hurt and that time that they thought was wasted or they think was wasted again. So now they're trying to be a little bit more strategic and say, well, let me ask this, let me ask that, let me get this out the way right now so that I can know if this is going to work. So they're really trying to like determine or foresee, right, the outcome of the relationship ahead of time, and it has nothing to do with the person. It has to do with them trying to avoid ever feeling that way again, ever feeling that hurt and that pain again. So it's like, oh well, this time around I'm not wasting any more time, so let me know this right now so that I can go about my business if it doesn't, but people are more than just a answered question, to be honest, right? There's so much, sometimes in those questions there's so much nuance, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think I agree with Bree. Interacting helps you to see the full picture, to fully understand the person, why they don't like that, why they show up this way, why, like, interaction helps that. But with social media too, the swiping, you know what I'm saying? Swiping, no swiping, but the swiping and social media, everything is fast paced. Everything is fast paced, and I think that's how we show up in relationships now. And I don't think it's the healthiest way to go about it, to be honest.
Yeah, and people don't give things time to develop and grow. Like one thing I noticed is that these days people are saying that I waffle or sit the fence, but when I explained it to them, I'm like, no, I'm not sitting the fence at all, not waffling at all. They're like, no one asked what I mean or how, so I'll tell you all. It's like this. You'll hear me on one platform, this platform, someone asks me a question, right? I'll think about it and I'll answer it. I go to another platform, someone will ask me the same general question, but they've got either a caveat or another, some other word that adds another nuance to it. And oftentimes, that nuance causes me to change my answer because it's now a different question. It just sounds similar to the last one you heard me answer. So when people say that, I'm like, yeah, they're not paying attention. Because I'm going to answer the same question the same way if it's asked, if it's asked no matter what platform I'm on. You know what I'm saying? Until you add something else into it, now I got to take that new information into account. Now that may cause me to change my answer, which it should be for everyone else. Because it's a different question. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm like, okay, now the way I thought about certain things 6 months ago or a year ago, they may have changed because my perspective has changed.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that? If you still think the same way today as you did 5 years ago, then you wasted 5 years. You grow and you learn. And that's not on the forefront of most people's minds. So,
Man, I wish it wasn't some shit I learned, and I honestly wish it was a few less things I learned in the last. I wish. I'm being dead ass serious.
Oh, we know.
I wish I was more ignorant to women. I promise you, I wish I was more ignorant to women. Like not being so. No, I'm so serious, right? Because
I know.
I call out.
Yeah, cipher on the matrix.
I've called out fuck shit all the time. Like I said, I wish I could just be like, huh? Why she do that? I don't know no better. Or that's just her. But I can't do that. So you know what I'm saying? I get it. I've learned too much.
Word of advice as well for content creators and you people who sit on panels and talk about what you think about the world. Don't date nobody that's been sitting around listening to you tell people what you want and what you think about the world. I wouldn't date nobody who's seen me online and reached out to me. That's just a word of advice. Men, women, if you are a content creator and you spend a lot of time online talking about what you think and how you see the world, don't date nobody who reach out to you and they've been sitting in your chat listening to you. Okay? Yeah. It's like a therapist dating their client.
I cannot confirm nor deny.
That's fair.
He cannot confirm nor deny.
Not only that, Bree, you like you said, you don't give them the blueprint. You know what I'm saying? For kind of how to approach you, or she don't like this. So exactly.
How to be finessed.
But Mandrell, I wanted to say this one thing to you, and it's just something for you to consider, because I've heard what you're talking about. I've heard people ask you questions to get you to answer differently. I've heard them weaponize that against you, to weaponize you against other populations. You have to be savvy enough to know when somebody is reframing the question just to get you to ally with a different thought process. Because I saw people use them reframing a question just to get you to back up the manosphere red pill ideological position, for you to call out something you disagree with. I've seen them use that to get you in alignment. Like, yeah, that's right, he's still with us. I've seen that. I've seen it myself. I heard it myself. If I wanted to, I'd go back and find the timestamp of it. Because she was like, no, that's wrong. Y'all shouldn't be doing that. But man, Trey, what do you think about this? No, that's wrong. And I tell everybody that's wrong. And I was like, oh, see, they walked him into getting back with the vitriol against this group just so it looks a certain way, just to give it the optics. Like you were, and still it turns
out it was, and they made it a completely different question by adding other nuances to it. You know what I'm saying? But to the average viewer, it looks like I walk back. You know what I'm saying? I get what you're saying. It happens, and I do catch it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I'm just kind of casually going along with it, answering questions. And I understand what you're saying, Arshawn. I do see the danger in that. I appreciate you bringing that to my attention.
What's up, Don Frank? Hello, Mandrell. Are you capable of admitting you need help from the female instead of always offering help?
Am I capable? Yeah. Am I capable of that? Yeah, I'm capable. That's why I taught the females about understanding females. I'm trying to understand them. So I can't talk to a man about understanding a woman. Let me go to the ladies. Hey, ladies, what is it with this? What is it with that? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm capable of saying I need help from females. Yeah.
That's cool. There was another couple of questions, man. I know this, we turned this to a man drill session, but so if they don't travel to your destinations, black people don't like to travel. Explain that reasoning, man, drill. Because you were saying the woman doesn't like to travel to the places you like to go, but she said she like to travel. I know this is an old one, but we had you lit up the chat, so I'm I got far behind on some of the questions, but I did star them, folks. I did star a lot of them.
So they don't travel to your no.
Yeah.
No. I'm not saying that at all. The thing is, like, the example I was trying to use was one time I was dating a woman and I said, okay, I'm going to Brazil. She says, okay. Well, I don't want to go. I said, okay, cool, no problem. Mm-hmm. But then when I say, okay, I'm going to go on a road trip, or I say, okay, I'm going to go to Miami for a week or for a few days. If every time I say I'm going to go somewhere, you don't want to go, wait a minute now. You told me you like to travel. Mm-hmm. This is like 4 times I said I'm going somewhere and you don't want to go.
How long have y'all been dating?
It wasn't long, man. It was like I think total time was like 6 to 7 months.
No, I'm saying when you were talking about some of these trips, like, do you remember how long y'all had been dating when you said trips happened?
Oh, like one time was like it was a few weeks into it, so that was understandable. Next one was that's understandable. I mean, another was a couple of months into it. You know what I'm saying? Time had passed. I mean, so and I was telling her ahead of time that I was going to do these things. So,
Mandrell, are you paying for the trips?
Yeah.
Oh, because I was gonna say maybe they don't have it like that. Okay, all right.
Maybe I don't know you enough to go out of the country with your ass.
And that's cool.
A couple of weeks is really early, though. A couple of weeks is really early. Like
that's
that's why I don't feel like
that's why a couple of weeks I was like, okay, no problem, and it was no problem. I understood. I just met you.
But even a couple months in across the country is a lot. I don't think you're scaling it up depending on what the trip is. Even if we've been dating 2 months, I'm probably not going to go to Spain with you.
That's understandable. Bree. That's totally understandable. But don't weaponize that and attack me with it.
Oh no! See, Mandra, that's your mistake.
But I thought you said you invited them, or that you said
I did invite them. But then don't yell at me about going on this trip without you. You could have come.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? What are you talking about? I offered you to come, and I can see if I left and said,
what did they yell? When they yelled at you, what did they say, Mandra?
You always going somewhere without me. You could come. I offered to pay for you to come. What are you talking about?
But maybe they don't want to go.
That would be the more questions. That would be
okay. If you don't want to go where I'm going, why don't you just say where you want to go? Just tell me where you want to go.
Was this a long distance relationship? Was this a long distance relationship?
That one was not. No.
Okay. Did they have any kids? Did they have any kids?
She did not.
Okay. And how long did y'all date collectively?
Were you guys? Were y'all exclusive?
That's not a long time.
Yeah.
You were exclusive, okay?
Yeah, I don't do dating other people. I'm
not asking if you don't. Maybe she does. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, maybe she did.
I mean, but 7 or 8 months ain't long enough to really for what the situation you're talking about. That's what I'm saying. Like you somebody y'all didn't date no more than 7. I'm not. Nah, bro. You might traffic.
Oh, gee.
Okay, cool. Okay, cool. That's fine. Bree, I'm okay if you're not comfortable going on the trip with me. Cool. But why are you upset that I went on the trip anyway?
I disagree with the 6 months not being enough, by the way. I completely disagree with that.
I disagree with that too.
I disagree with that too. Yeah, because I think it really depends on the people. Like, you're talking about grown people, right? It doesn't take 6 months to figure out if this person is trustworthy or not. If you're paying attention, if you're doing what Bree's saying, where you're actually interacting, it's not an online relationship. You're actually interacting with the person. You're able to pick up on those things through conversations. So, and that's the other thing we got to keep in mind. Like, time is not the same when you're dating online versus in person. It's just not. It honestly isn't. Right. And so when you say 6 months, I'm like, what? you should know within a couple of months if this person is trustworthy or not. So I think he said 7 months. I think that's enough time to decide if you could take a trip with someone or not.
I mean,
I
taking an
don't know.
overseas trip is pretty loaded in a lot of ways, and I think it would depend on the dynamic. Like if Mandrell is presenting as a very traditional man who likes to pay for everything, he likes to be the one to be like chivalrous, like he likes all of that stuff. If he invites me on a trip, I'm not assuming I'm going to be able to pay my part. He's even offering to pay. That starts to hold a different kind of weight for women as far as how we have to be vigilant and protect ourselves. Now you're starting to trigger some, which is not fair to you. It's not fair to you, but it's not easily quieted because it's something that we learned very early. We have to be hyper vigilant about. So depending on how willing you are to pay all of it, to do all this, to move all your plans around, you have to understand some women are going to look at it and be like, this is a lot. Like, why is he so willing? And that's not to say you trying to do anything. I don't believe you're trying to unalive nobody. But you just have to realize that some women, the more you heap on, I'm just really doing all this, they're going to start looking at you like, okay, maybe you should offer to let her pay her part. Like maybe that would make it a difference where she may feel like, okay, he's not really out here trying to ask something to be crazy. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I wish I was. I wish I was on camera so y'all could see how I'm shaking my head right now.
Right.
Mandrell,
I mean, the
I
facts
can tell
are
you.
facts. The facts are facts.
Mandrell, I can tell you right now, what Bree's saying is right. That's not, but I'm telling you, if you was with somebody 7 to 8 months and she did not want to take a trip, I can almost guarantee you, and not 100%, but almost, I'm almost there, that the reason was not because of safety. I'm sorry. I'm just like, it just doesn't take that long
It doesn't.
to figure out. And there are people who go on. I know a woman who is married to this day. I think they've been married, over about 15 years now. They met online. Within 6 months, they were married, right? And they're still married. They have children. They have their twins. They're together. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't know. It depends on the maturity level of the people, the emotional intelligence. Like there's a lot of factors that go into that. So when somebody like me here, 7 to 8 months, you're going up on a year already, right? It doesn't take that long to figure out if this is somebody that I can take a trip to Puerto Rico with or wherever. You get what I'm saying? I don't know. I'm saying this a little different.
I got one question.
Yeah, you personalized that one.
Has she ever left the country by herself on a trip, Mandrell?
No, not by herself. No.
Okay, so if you meet a woman who on your wavelength, I have a friend who travels by herself all the time. She probably would feel comfortable going on a trip out of the country with you. You're asking someone who's never flown out of the country by herself, never gone through customs, never navigated international travel to go on a trip with you. After it's gonna take longer for her to feel comfortable with that.
Okay, cool. That's cool. I have no problem with any of that. Just to be clear.
I'm just giving a perspective of
I get it. However, when I say okay, no problem, and I go on my trip, why are you pissed off?
Now here's the thing.
You know what I'm saying? Like that part I don't get.
Right, but here's the thing, man, and
I'm not gonna say, wait, hold on. The train ain't gonna stop just because you want to slow it down. The machine keeps moving. This is what I'm doing. I would like you to come with me. Okay, and I'm inviting you to come with me. I will even fund your trip to come with me. Would you like to come? No. Okay, cool. No problem. But this is where, from this date to this date, this is where I will be. Why then are you upset?
Now listen, here's the problem, Andrew. This is what you're doing. You're like, when you talk about people, you kind of lump everything into one behavior. Her feelings about the trip can be totally separate from her feelings about you leaving without her. So she may not want to go on the trip.
Okay.
And like Hanifa says, both and she could also desire that you not make that trip the same way she's chosen not to make that trip. I've made a decision out of whatever motivation or fear that I have, and I want you to sit with me in that reality, as opposed to you deciding, okay, well, I can move without you, because you being able to move without that person can stoke an insecurity in an insecure person. Oh, wow, he can just up and leave without me at any time. Oh, wow, I don't mean as much as I thought. Oh, wow.
Okay, so then why don't you talk to me about that?
Well, then that comes back to you. Did you ask any of these type of questions?
No, I didn't.
No, I
So,
disagree. She needs to take her ass somewhere with all of them feelings. I'm sorry. Listen.
but we're human.
Here's
Hanifa, no. Hanifa, no.
Here's the thing. Here's the
Hanifa,
thing. If you're here,
y'all
look,
cannot
if you're
do
here-
that. Y'all cannot do that. Y'all
Why
cannot
would
do
I-
that.
No.
Y'all cannot
Arshawn.
deal with human beings. Y'all cannot deal with human beings and be
Arshawn.
like, no, quit being human. Quit being human. I want
No,
you to be
Ashan. No, she can be human. She can be human while I'm on my trip. We can talk about her humanness while I'm on my
Yes,
trip.
while we're on that
What she
trip.
what she don't get to do is, if you are invited on a trip, you don't get to want me to cancel my trip because you don't want to make the trip. Are you
They can
crazy?
want whatever they
No.
want. They can want whatever they want. They can
Right.
want
Well,
whatever they
he
want.
doesn't have to accommodate
He
that, is
doesn't.
what I'm
He
trying to
doesn't.
say.
We know
Right.
that.
So,
We know
right. So
that.
what you just said, I'm responding to what you're saying. Like, it's like, oh yeah, she can have them. Yeah, she can have them all she wants, and she's gonna be
Yeah.
left in the States, and I'm gonna be somewhere traveling. Like, I
And
just don't
that's
think
fine.
that's fair.
It's not fair, but what I'm saying is that's
Okay.
true. See, we're not talking about fair because life is
Okay.
not fair. We're talking about people. People are messy.
Right.
People are complicated. So then what we have to do is start to investigate our partners, because we pick these imperfect people and then hold them to a standard that imperfect people cannot maintain. Somebody's going to have an insecurity. Somebody's going to have a fear. Somebody's going to have a cognitive bias. Somebody's going to be hypocrite about something. That should be anticipated. So when you reach the roadblock of somebody's humanness, you start to investigate. If we start getting hostile because somebody else got hostile, then we end up with the same thing we're talking about in these panels, but in our relationships. Somebody's got to be able to be cool. Like, okay, this is a silliness right here. You don't want me to go. You don't want me to go, but you know I'm going. I've already booked my ticket, and you don't want to go with me. So you want me to stay and not go on this thing that everybody knew I was doing. I've talked about it on the panel. I've talked about it with my sister. I talked about it. I posted it. You don't want me to go. Why do you not want me to go? What does this trip mean to you? Is it about me? Is it about the trip? Is it about you? Have the conversation, because it may be that you're dealing with somebody that you cannot be in a relationship with, or it may be that somebody has an unspoken fear or expectation that's easily figured out through conversation. But we have to understand that people are afraid. People are afraid to have these conversations. They're afraid to talk about their feelings.
That conversation Ashan talking about, have that conversation when you come back from your trip. Don't have it before. Don't let that woman mess up your
That's
trip.
petty.
Have the
But my
conversation
question-
when you come back.
That's
But, and
petty.
my question
That
is,
needs to be
who
petty.
broke up with who in that relationship?
Who broke up with who?
Yeah, who broke up with who in that
Oh,
relationship?
she broke up with me.
And what was her reason?
She said that I was too much. And I asked,
Okay, you doing the most.
wait. I asked so I asked, what do you mean by too much? Well, you do a lot of things. Like you go shoot guns, because I go to the gun range,
Right.
every now and again, and you work out, you shoot guns, you travel a lot, you're always doing something. And me, I just like to sit at home and chill. I don't want to do all that. And so with that breakup, I was just like Bree. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Because like you said, we're on a different two different wavelengths. I mean, I had no problem with it. Yeah, we had a conversation and we're on two different wavelengths. She just didn't want to go on trips. She didn't want to visit other countries. I'm gonna do that anyway.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Her hobbies, Leah, was to sit at home and watch television.
And that's what she wanted you to do with
And
her.
that's what she wanted me to do with her.
That's
Look, I have no problem with that. I'll sit at home and watch TV. However, I'm gonna do other things as well.
Absolutely.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm gonna practice Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I'm gonna practice MMA.
Well, the thing is,
I'm gonna shoot guns.
But the example with the trips was just the same. This is that problem. This was the same problem. I think sometimes you compartmentalize it a little bit. And it's like, no, you're not doing the same thing. You're not chilling and running around. You're not chilling and always doing something. Like, you can't be all things at all times. Like, it's either you be chilling all the time and kicking it, or you don't. And it's like, no, you can't be like, well, I'll chill. I'll be chilling too.
And it's okay to be incompatible. It's okay
These
to be
women these women be lying. Listen,
no,
Mandrell.
she might not be a traveler though. Like she
No,
might, like she
that's
I'm not
fine.
saying I'm not
She
saying
might.
that. She might be a homebody. I agree with that, right?
Mhm.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. Like we are. Oh my gosh. Oh my God. I'm having a hard time with this, y'all, because
All over the place at
there
home.
there are guys who sit and play Xbox all day, and if
That's
those
me and my
women
baby.
like those, right, if those women like those guys enough,
Mhm.
right? That's not
If they
something that
vibe.
they're into. They're not into Xbox all day, whatever. They go hang out with their girls or whatever, but they like that guy enough to look past that. And they
Nah,
give
Hanifa,
them,
I'ma push back. I'ma push
okay, wait,
back.
give me, you can give me 1 second. Let me just land and then you can
Get her,
take my
Brie.
plane off the runway.
Get her,
That's
Brie.
fine. But my
Get her.
question is like, I see this. I feel like women make excuses for the men, like to break up with the men that they're just not that interested in. Because I'm listening to this and I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, he likes to travel and you don't. I don't understand why that's a barrier to having a relationship with someone. I'm struggling over here. I
But
don't
he
get
don't
that.
be
Yeah,
he
and the thing is, wait, and
all
here's the
the
thing.
time.
Here's the thing, though. Also, like, if you meet someone new, right? If you meet someone like Leah says, I don't know, I think you should have some common interests and hobbies. You should. And the thing is, I'm willing to try other stuff.
Should. We're doing that thing. We're doing that
Here
thing.
we go.
We're doing that
This
thing.
is where
fair enough,
synergy
fair
come
enough.
in.
No, fair enough. I agree with that. Common interests, common hobbies, those things would go
Those
well.
are nice.
Yeah, those things would go well with a healthy relationship.
John said they're nice.
But and the thing
Yeah.
is, and I'm a person, I'll try almost anything once. You know what I'm saying? I like trying new stuff. Maybe she does has some hobbies that I don't know about, and I try them and I like them. You know what I'm saying? I'm open to things like that. Maybe she tries some of my hobbies, or maybe not. You know what I'm saying? Let's do some stuff you want to do. If it's
Yeah.
something I hadn't tried yet, okay, let's do that. But then you got people, who say, well, we don't do the same things. No, let's go do some of this stuff. Yeah, but you
No,
don't
let's
do it.
not.
But then they're like, no, but you don't do it. Like, I've never tried it before. That doesn't mean I don't
Yeah,
like
but
it. I
I
don't
don't
know if I don't like
necessarily.
it. I hadn't tried it yet.
It's
I'm
overrated.
pushing back. I'm pushing back. No, first of
Yeah.
all, this is the thing. Some people are incompatible. First of all, if you like to run the streets and I like to take naps, that's my hobby. Okay, we not compatible. Okay, because I like to take naps and you like to run the streets. Okay, and I don't want to run the streets with you because I like to take naps. And it ain't no who falls up.
Hanifa, I don't know
Who,
what that buzzing is, but I'm keep my mind to myself. I don't know what that buzzing is, but I'm gonna need you to either mute,
Yo, I was trying to
put
hit
that
the mute
motherfucker
button
back
for
in
the
the drawer,
longest. It
or
was a
answer that phone.
phone.
One or the other.
Don't do that. Don't do
Yeah.
that. Don't
speaking of
do me
hobbies,
like
speaking
that.
of staying home under the covers, but
Right.
Right. And the thing is, yeah. And the thing
Oh
is,
but
but
man.
no,
Brie has a
Hey,
good point. If it's a
no,
hey,
no,
relationship,
let her finish her point real quick, man, Joe.
yeah,
Let her finish
because I
that
was
point.
gonna say
Let her
with the
finish that good
gamers,
point.
as a woman who actually likes to game, and me and my husband actually share the same
Oh,
hobby. It
shit.
is not the same. I have two brothers who are
Oh,
gamers and
shit.
anime enthusiasts. They marry women who are not into it. And y'all can say what y'all want, but women are professional resource managers. Them men get so much hell. My brothers cannot enjoy their gaming to the capacity they would like to enjoy it because it makes their wives feel some type of way that they are so happy and enjoy sitting and doing something that their wives are not involved in, that they do not get the full space. I'm not saying they don't have good wives, we're not going to do that, but they do not have the full space to enjoy their hobby because they have to be aware that, well, I got to go do what she like. Now we got to go out to this paint and sip. Versus if we had the same hobby, like me and my husband, we got a whole game room and we be playing games with each other. We run a squad. We run duos on Battle Royale on COD. You see what I'm
So
saying? So we don't have to.
Bree,
that
is
We don't.
that
would
a
be
woman
awesome.
thing?
And that would
Is
be
that a
awesome.
woman thing? Like what you just said, you said they don't give the space for them to enjoy their hobbies if they don't have a
If
common interest. Are they allowed the space to enjoy their hobbies? Maybe
yes,
even though the guy may not have so that's what I'm saying. I feel like
no,
it's
no, no.
this.
I'm saying the men allow the women. She want to go out with her girlfriends to brunch. She want to do this. They run the streets. They don't say nothing. Let him sit and want to be on the game to 3 a.m. if that's what he want to do. you on the game,
And that's
you
my
not paying no
point.
attention to me. But that's what sometimes happens when you don't share hobby. It's just gonna create
No, it's
conflict
no,
sometimes.
Bree. You're speaking. You're talking about it from a very one-sided way. It's from the
No,
side of the woman only, though. That's really
no.
what
But
you're
I'm
saying.
no. What I'm explaining is why what Mandrill's talking about is the problem,
Mm-hmm.
because this woman like to chill at the house, and
Uh-huh.
he like to be outside. And
Mm-hmm.
he's trying to find some existence or way to say, well, that's just how it is, isn't it? You like to be inside and I like to be outside. Maybe you go outside with me and I stay in with you. That's the point. I don't want to go outside.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to have to be with somebody the rest of my life who gonna make me go outside all the time. Maybe I just want somebody who can be inside. Like I like to be inside, so they not sacrificing their outside time, and I'm not sacrificing my inside time, and we just vibe. So that's what I'm saying. Like sometimes it's better to be compatible so that each y'all can just live together. I'm not saying it can't work, but that's why I was giving an example of gaming. As a woman which is not, I have 4 couples of in-laws, and I'm the only wife that games. I'm not saying you have to have a gamer wife, but the dynamic and the situations we can create to bond within our regular life because we share the same hobby is different than those couples who have to create new spaces outside of each other to share in experiences together because they don't have the same hobbies. That's
I
all
hear
I'm saying.
exactly what you're saying, and I think this is this is not a but, right? This is me adding on to what you're saying. From what you are saying and what I'm listening to the conversation, it's very one-sided, and that is my issue. The man is sacrificing every flipping thing. That's my point. She's the one that get herself in her emotions about you're not spending time with me. You always traveling because she don't like to travel. No, she want him to sit his ass in the house. Now, does that mean that Mandrell is traveling every month? No. It just means that he likes to travel. He might take a trip once or twice a year. She can go on one of those trips. She can go
Thank
on
you.
one. It doesn't have to be both. But Mandrell, that's also once you decide that you're actually going to be in a relationship with the person. I feel like that's when that happens. In that dating stage that you was in, she had the right to say this isn't going to work. But I'm
Right.
just saying, generally, like speaking to what Bree's also saying, when the example she gave with the wives, I feel like what we're speaking about is a woman issue. It's not a relationship issue. It's women that take issue with that type of stuff. It's the men that have to look past that, the fact that he don't like to go out. And I just think that that's something that women have to work on in relationships, where you're just not expecting all the sacrifice to come from one end. That's all I'm saying to that. You know what I mean? And I agree with you. If you're going to have some things in common, but you're not going to have all things in common. There's going to be some compromise in the relationship in general. So when I hear people say, you like to travel and I don't, so we can't be together, I have a hard time wrapping my head around that, because that person might have, and maybe that's a big deal breaker, and that's fair. That's fine enough. You know what I'm saying? I'm not knocking that. But that person might have so many other good things going, so many other things that they can add to your life. And you are stuck on the fact that you don't like to travel, and you mad that they're leaving you behind when they go travel because you don't like to travel. You know what I'm saying? But that person is then going to have to sit in the house with you sometimes too. And they don't like to sit in the house. So it's a give and take in relationship. And I think that people have to approach relationships like that. The issue is in relationships, men tend to be the ones that are sacrificing all the time. And the women are just like, no, I don't want you to do that. I don't want you to do this. I don't want you to do that. I don't want you to do this. And I'm like, sis, when do you meet him in the middle? When do you compromise? And I think I'm not pushing back against what Bree's saying. I'm just adding on to it. I think that's the angle that I'm looking at it from. So, yeah.
That's why I want people to walk away if they're not compatible. Because some stuff just not compatible. Like some lifestyles are just not compatible with each other. And that's what I'm more so pushing. There's some hobbies that you can find a middle ground. If I like to be at home and you like to travel, that's not gonna work.
Well, here's the thing. Like I agree with that. Like Leah brought up something in the chat. Like she's like, she couldn't be with somebody who wants her to go camping all the time. That would just make her unhappy. Like if it comes to something like that, I'm with her. I don't want to sleep outside. You know what I'm saying? You're right. You know what I'm saying? I mean, camping, that's cool once every 10 years or so. I mean, it's something different to do. But I ain't gonna do that often. You know what I'm saying? Like, so if someone likes to if someone likes to sit at home and play video games all day, okay, I got a gaming PC that I'm talking to y'all on right now. I got PS5, PS4 over there on the TV. You know what I'm saying? I game too. Like what I'm saying is like it's just like Hanifa said, because I'm not make this such a personal thing towards me. If you have different hobbies and different things you like to do, there's still common ground there to be had and found. You know, because the guy is going to, like, say if I was with her, I don't mind sitting at home watching TV after I'm done doing my hobbies, and since she likes to do this is what she like to do. I'm going to do more of that and less of the things I want to do to accommodate her. But every now and again, like I understand with jiu-jitsu and MMA, if she don't want to take part in that, not a lot of women do. I understand that. She's probably not going to come and try that out. I get it. So let's find some other stuff that we like together. Let's find some of that. And you know what I'm saying? Maybe I can drop one of my hobbies and go do some of the stuff that we like to do as a couple. It's give and take, like she said, and it's about finding things that you like together. You know what I'm saying? That's why you try different stuff.
That shit.
That's what I'm saying. Jump in, Yella. Hey, yeah, go ahead, Yella. I want to say something after that.
That shit overrated. Having the exact type of like hobbies and shit, that shit's overrated. Because I don't want you to be doing the thing that I like to do all the time. Then I even still don't have my own individualness. We always doing the same shit. You know what I'm saying? Now, what I will say is this to Bree's point. Some balance, some of those interests not gonna balance, right? You know what I'm saying? If you like traveling and she don't, that probably ain't the combination you gonna try to want to work with. You know what I'm saying? But it's a lot of things that you can kind of blend, or you can let this person have a thing, especially coming in at this age. Like, folks ain't really trying to let go of the things that make them them. You know what I'm saying? And then you don't necessarily have to participate in it. But the thing is that to Leah's point, you're going to have to go camping at least once. You're going to have to go at least once. And if you ain't down to do it at least once, then you probably shouldn't be there. You know what I'm saying? Because I get it. Yeah, he moving around. He traveling all the time. Yeah. But if you're going to complain about it, you knew what he was doing when you got there. Same thing with the dude playing the game till 3. Okay, you probably didn't know that. But
you probably knew it.
You probably do it. He playing till 3.
You know that nigga.
You probably do it. She probably knew that, Yellow. She knew that. Till 3. Till 3,
you
Yellow.
know that boy be doing some sweaty.
She knew that. Come on, bro. Because I was.
I mean, she wouldn't know that. She wouldn't know that until, like, honestly, you probably wouldn't know that until you move in with him.
Because once upon a time, I was that guy too, Yellow. I was playing games until late wee hours of the night.
I be doing some weird shit in the middle of the night.
Yes, you do.
So,
yes,
yeah,
you do.
Yeah. So,
yes, you do.
You coming in my life, just expect me to be doing some weird shit at like 2-3 o'clock in the morning. It ain't got to be a deal breaker. Just know I might be in the house crowing or some shit. I might be at like 3 o'clock in the morning. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? But what I'm saying is you have to find a balance. Like in science, the opposite attracts. Magnets attract on the opposite ends. It's harder to push the same side together. It's because opposite interests create balance. So that's what I'm saying. You're going to have to find something. Now, some interests just don't mesh, but I don't full on believe that you got to align all of your interests in together.
Right.
Yeah, because like you said before, you lose individuality.
Yeah, I wasn't saying that at all either. Just
yeah.
I wasn't saying no. Yeah, no.
Yeah, Ashan, I know you're about to speak. I just wanted to also say
obviously.
that. I'm sorry. I just wanted to also say that. You're not. There are some things. I'm not saying that you shouldn't have any common interests. I'm not saying that at all. There should be something there. I'm just saying that there are things that I don't think. Maybe this is me personally. that are big enough to disqualify someone. Is all I'm saying. Now, it might be big enough for you. It might be, that's what I'm saying. But when I look at certain things and I heard certain excuses, I'm telling y'all right now, these women, we are willing to look past shit if we like you enough. And men do the same thing. And that's what I'm trying to speak to. And we got to be careful, and we have to be able to differentiate between the two. Is this really an issue for her? Is it just that she's not feeling you and she using that as an excuse? Because that's also something that's done in relationships too, or people who are trying to date as well. And the last thing I wanted to say, I think Brie kind of touched on this a little bit. She was saying that the lack of community and that type of stuff. I think that we have this idea of some one person is supposed to fulfill all of these things in us. I don't know where we got that idea from as far as how we do relationship, but I think that, like, I know a friend of mine, her husband travels, but he doesn't travel as much as her. She take a lot of trips with her cousins, her aunts, her siblings, her friends, because traveling is her thing. So she makes sure she get her hit, right? And I think that there are people who play sports. You know, he might play baseball. You know, she's like, okay, I'm gonna come to this game, but not the other one. He has his crew that he go to his game with. The thing is that there's a lot of insecurities that people enter into relationships with as well. There's a lack of like maturity around like giving people the space to show up as their individual self while working with them as a collective. I think that that's a part of the issue. It's also control. There's a lot of factors at play that we're not discussing right now, and that's kind of that's where I'm coming from. It's a control thing oftentimes. You know, don't be letting these women play you out here, because I'm telling you, the guy that ain't hardly doing anything with himself, she giving him that pom pom. Some of these women giving up the pom pom to these men, right? And they're giving them their time, their energy, right? And all of that. And then time has passed or whatever, and it's like, oh, but she was in love with him. They ain't had no damn common interest. They had no common interest. It was just that I like him. I'm what you call it, digmatized. You get what I'm saying? And this is why this relationship has dragged out the way. I like his swag. I like the way he stands in his Timberlands, or whatever the hell that is that woman be out here thinking. But there's that at play as well, and that's really what I'm speaking to, is that you got to be able to differentiate, and maybe somebody can speak to how you differentiate between the two. Whereby is she lying, or is this really a thing? Come on, Ashan, give it to us.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to speak. Thank you for allowing me to be on you all's panel. I really appreciate y'all for having me. I did want to say that I do believe, because like Hanifa just said, we were conflating lifestyle and emotional regulation, because we were talking, y'all kept going to lifestyle, and I wanted to interject because what we were talking about with Mandrell's specific situation was emotional regulation. That was controlling, needy, and insecure. It didn't matter what he would have done. Like he said, every activity. It wasn't just the travel. If he went to the guns, if he went to jujitsu, if he went to go hang with his sister, that's not about lifestyle. He couldn't have a life without her. So the problem was insecurity, neediness, and control. And we kept talking about what he did. It didn't matter what he did. The problem was her. See, a healthy person would have allowed him. I'm not really into trips. Okay. Now, if Mandrell has a need, which he expressed, he does not have a need for somebody to go on a trip with him. He did it without her, right? So Mandrell, you were not needy. The trip is what you needed. And you needed the relationship separate. You didn't need a companion for the trip. You needed the trip and you needed the person. And they did not have to be together. Some people think, like we all just mentioned a minute ago, that everything has to be combined. Well, if I got to church, you got to come to church. If I wear blue, you got to wear blue. Everything has to be integrated, and that's not the case. Everybody has different emotional needs. Everybody has, like Hanifa started when this whole conversation out with, everybody has a different picture of what a relationship is. Some people are like, I've heard Kendra in talk about her husband. We don't need to do everything together. And I know me personally, if I'm with somebody, I don't want to do everything with you. I need a space. I need at least one space that you're never in. There's not a picture of you. Your fragrance is not there. You don't have any hairs on a pillow in that space. I need a space that you're absent from that I can go to if I need to get away from you, because space is a part of any relationship I'm in. That is a love language for me. So not the list. We have to acknowledge that people have different needs, different wants. And one of the things is we haven't been able to, as people, as a group of people, humans, not even just black people, we have a hard time differentiating somebody having a disagreement with like our lifestyle choices and somebody that has an emotional issue, a trigger, a trauma, something that they're offloading onto us. Because that's what happened to Mandrill. There was somebody that was very needy because they were neglected as a child or abandoned. It was probably abandonment issues. You're abandoning me. You take that trip, you're abandoning me. I remember seeing my father go to get the milk. Every time you get on that airplane, my father's going to get the milk again. And without that conversation, that's why I was talking, that's why the importance of one meet for with a conversation. You need to find out why, because it may be something that can be addressed, and you can have a long-standing, healthy, productive relationship. Or it could be an asshole that is supremely selfish and is going to take everything out of you, including your soul. And you can find that out too with the conversation.
Can I was just gonna say, and that's why I think when we were having this conversation, I brought up how some people do marry people who don't have the same interests as them, but it still they still deal with that same thing like Mandrill was talking about, where a lot of women feel like anytime he does those other things that's not with you, it's like it's a problem. Because it's that same thing that Mandrill was talking about. You don't want to go on a trip, that's cool, but now you feel away anytime I'm using my energy and time and you're not involved. So that's what I'm saying. Like sometimes it's nice to have shared interests. You should still maintain individualism even within that. I play Overwatch, my husband don't. We don't play everything together, right? Individualism, if you have a true grasp on yourself and security and individualism, you're going to maintain it in your relationship. But I just kind of wanted to tell people to be aware because, like Hanifa was saying, which I actually agree with, for women, as far as the side, like she was saying, this is a woman problem. One thing I do know for a fact is most of the time, for all of my male friends I know, if their girlfriends or wives don't share their interests, even if we go on date night and we go on do this and this and that, let that man have some energy and time and happiness in something else that she is not a part of. She is now feeling some type of way about it. She's going to start trying to manage it, control it, tell him how and to what capacity he can do it, all this stuff. So I just caution people that if you're going to be with somebody who doesn't have your shared interests, it's cute at first, great. We go out and we have our us time separate and all that. That's cute. But one thing I do know about a lot of women, they're controlling, they're resource greedy, and your time and energy is their favorite resource. And for a lot of the average person, like Rashawn always say, the average person you're dealing with who's insecure is gonna have a hard time a couple years down the line when they're not shiny and new anymore, and you find happiness in that hobby they know damn well they don't have. So I just caution people, like, hey, do what you want, but so I do agree with Hanifa that for
That's some
women,
good shit, Bree.
a lot of
Oh,
this
I
is
can
a
see
woman
shit,
problem.
right?
Yeah.
I be cussing. Sorry, I'm not supposed to.
Show the fuck
But yeah,
can.
so y'all just watch out with that idealism that she gonna really just let you have your stuff to yourself on the side forever.
Man, because I promise.
That's some good advice,
The
Bree.
the worst thing is like when you on the phone, like I'm pretty sure most men say that. I done used this example before. You could be on the phone with your lady and walk past some fun that ain't even got nothing to do with you, and you hear her whole disposition change. You're like, what was that? Oh, there's some folks over here. Let somebody laugh or a good time going on around you. You ain't even got to be a part of it. It'll be a problem. That is the weirdest shit. And I noticed it, but like Bree be saying some shit, and that I ain't noticed that really until Bree would start saying that. She been saying that for a minute. She been saying that. Girl, smart. These folks smell some smart people. ain't nobody told y'all in a minute. Y'all smart. Y'all is kind. Y'all is important.
You know what? Knock the hell
Thank,
off.
thank you. Thank
I
you.
got I got I got something for that yelling. I wish I was prepared for it, man. I wish I was prepared for it, man, but I wasn't. But this is for you, man.
This bitch.
Before you come up here with come up here with
I
that
ain't been online.
nonsense, man.
I ain't been online in a couple days. I'm on dumb shit, so pardon me, y'all. Just I'm here.
Wish I had that ready.
Yeah.
'Cause, ooh.
Yeah, but that one, someone in the chat brought up camping. I'm back on that because, listen, some stuff the Army just took out of me, and it ain't coming back. Some stuff I'm just not going to do ever again. Like I'm not going.
I
don't
want to
wanna
know
go
what white
camping.
man she was talking to, because ain't nobody up here agreeing to camping.
Yeah, no. I don't want to see it.
I'm gonna be straight up, player. That was my first thought. Like, what white man she talking to?
Yeah,
Because I ain't going camping. So
no, I don't. I'd rather not.
And camping is maybe like if we got an RV, we can take convenience outside. We're gonna move the convenience over there. An RV, yeah, but the tents on the ground, roll over and on the rocks and shit. She said it was extreme, but that nah, we ain't doing that. We ain't doing that.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'll try. Would I try it? Yeah, but is this something that I'm gonna want to do? No.
No, we ain't trying it.
That's why I'm like, man, girl, you need to stop saying stuff like that.
Oh, we ain't trying it.
Like I said,
It's always like I'll do anything. I'll do.
Yeah, I'll try.
It's
Yeah,
cool to be
I'll
like,
do it.
I'm not
Yeah.
doing it.
Will
No,
I do
but
it?
I'm not
Yeah.
going. Nah.
Am I
you
gonna
dating-
want to do that? I'm not gonna
Yeah,
want
but
to.
you need to like see that there's those people like Rashawn mentioned this in the past. Like he would agree to do stuff and then not really want to do it, just like feeling this obligation to be open and available. Like you might need to start saying it's some shit you ain't gonna do because like if I was camping, I'd be like, I'm not going camping, and I don't want to give you the idea that I'm ever gonna like you enough to be a person I'm not.
If it ain't a hint of some interest there in the same thing, like she might like camping. You might like animals. Y'all can make it a thing, right? Y'all can kind of make it a thing, right? But if there ain't no link, that's what I'm saying. It don't even. I kind of get like what everybody says. It don't even have to be a link of identical. Like this is exactly why we both like this, but it could come from two different perspectives. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can find something around that or not. I'm not the most religious, spiritual dude. Look, football is my God. I'm telling you that right now. And Sunday is my holy day for the pigskin. I'm just saying. That's my religion. I faithfully every Sunday. I guarantee I watch more football than church. So, but if she like to go to church, you want to go ahead. I ain't finna stop you. Just like I'm not finna force you to sit home and watch this game. I would prefer you don't. Because I don't want to have to answer no damn questions. Why they doing the ball like that? I don't know. I'm watching the game too.
I feel like if you're doing something like that, like if you're watching the game and she's not into it, then go find something that you like doing, ma'am. And it's the same thing. Like if she's, because that's what I said. It can have. They are deal breakers for people. There are things that they're just not willing to compromise on, right? And it's like, no, I'm not. You don't have that. But we all have like different interests. It's not just one thing. You know what I mean? And so for me, if they're doing that one thing that you're not into, don't you have some other shit to get into? Like I don't know. I'm a person
Not
of
for people.
space.
Not for people
I'm
trying
a
to eat up
person
your
of yeah.
time. Not for somebody trying to eat up, consume your time. Because that's like what Bree's saying. Our time is also a resource.
Wait, Bree, is there an age group with this or this? It doesn't matter. Because I feel like when I hear like people eating up your time, wanted to be up underneath you, I feel like that's like early 20s behavior. 19,
most of the couples
18.
I'm talking about, most of the it's okay in the beginning, but most of the couples I'm talking about have been together for a long time. Some of these couples have been together 20 years, 15 years. These are like 30s, 40s people. And see what happened is after the kids get older and they not your attention sink no more, or
Yes.
you got some free time now because of insert whatever life event and age, that's when you see it come back out.
Okay, come back. Okay, got you. I
Yeah,
got you. Okay.
it comes up. The man who got the man cave, those are usually men who have houses. A 40-year-old man, the man who
Mm-hmm.
just got his corner of the house where he can, them people, that's the same problem. That's what it looked like in 40. That's
Advice.
what the
Mm.
that's what it
The
looked like in
best
40.
thing to do, fellas, your man cave should not be attached to the house. It can't be a man cave if it's attached. If it's one door that separate you and her, it's not a man cave. You just got a room in the house. A man cave got to be at least 3 doors that separate you and her. Like my man's one of my 20-year guys. He always buy a house on the lot. This in Chicago. The house on the corner. In Chicago, most of the house on the corner, most of them got garages, but the house on the corner got them big. Yeah, you got a man closet. Yeah, for real, you got a man closet.
It's a bigger yard on the corner lot.
Right.
That's
So
foul.
and them be some nice ass garages. He always get one of those so he can have his man cave outside. I'll be like, why you don't have your joint in the basement? He like, I need to be outside, and it works perfectly. It works perfectly. Him and his wife been married damn near going on 40 years now.
Now my husband say, y'all not putting my shit in the basement. I'm putting this TV in the living
Facts.
room. I paid for it. This is my fucking house. My husband be like, I'm putting my big ass TV in this big ass living room, buy the big ass kitchen.
He got
Y'all
established
not gonna
dominance.
put me in the basement. Y'all put all y'all girly shit down in the basement. We gotta go. We have to put the girly stuff. He won't let me paint no walls the girly colors I want. He be like, I live here too. Damn it, we gonna get some
He is under
neutral palette.
feminine attack all
Oh, I
day.
feel like
He has to establish
a man
dominance.
cave. I feel like a man cave is absolutely necessary for me.
No, he
like
doesn't
I
want
think a
one.
man cave is I know, and that's fine. Like I'm just for me generally, like I just think a man cave is necessary because the truth is like this: when your boys come to my house, I don't want them in my living room. I just don't. Go downstairs. Go do whatever guys do. I don't care. I don't even be in the mix of that. My husband will come and say such and such is the one thing I ask of him is because we, the basement, when you have the separate entrance, right? The one thing, and he used to thought it was fine that they can come through the other entrance and not through my front door. That was the only rule I have, because here's the thing. I need to know who is in my house. The basement is a part of my house. I need to know who is in my house. Something can happen, and I don't even know that someone was in my damn house. Ever since we had that conversation, the most that he'll do is come and say, such and such coming by. You all right with that? Did you need me for something? And I'm usually fine because I'm like, go about your business. The issue not the issue, but I think the challenge for both of us is that we can spend a lot of time alone, the two of us. And so we don't really bother each other like that, not that much. I can be petty, and like go down there and just start like taking up space. But I think for me, and maybe it's the way that my personality is, I think a man cave is absolutely necessary. You and your goofy ass friends need to go in some other separate part of the house and go hang out and talk, because I don't even want to hear y'all conversations, like none of that. Y'all loud music, none of it.
But can we acknowledge an energy to that though? And that's what I'm saying. I think that's what my husband pushes back against. And I think man caves are great. If you need a man cave so y'all can have peace in your house, like I think that's great. But I think for him it's important that he feel like I know for my husband, he loves to be around his kids. He likes to feel like we're all together and we're enjoying the space. He's a quality time kind of guy.
Got it.
And I'm a very I like to isolate. I can sit in my corner and read books and take naps.
Yeah, me too.
But I think for him, he doesn't want, and that's based on where he comes from. He doesn't want to feel like this is my house. So when I bring people over here, they're our guests, and I get along with all his friends. But once again, we have a different dynamic too, because like y'all game and shit, let me jump in. I'm trying to get around there too. So like I can't really be off in the basement. And that's what I told him. Like, if we actually had a man cave, we gonna be fighting over the TV because I want to play on the OLED too. I'm trying to play on the OLED too. I need that 60 frame rate. You know what I'm saying? So for us, it just doesn't have utility, and he does not ever want to feel like he's being put in a corner in his own home. Now that's his own thing he feels, and I respect that. But I do think a lot of women do have that feeling of like when the man is enjoying his space and his home and his company, it's an inconvenience to the rest of the family. And I think for my husband, he doesn't want to feel like him enjoying himself, his guests, his friends, his gaming, his time is an inconvenience to the house he paying for because I don't work. So
Right.
that's just
And Bree,
kind of
I
his
have those days.
stance.
I have those times, Bree, when I feel like, it's like I feel like you've been down there low too long, whatever that is. But that's where communication
Yeah,
comes in for me, right? And I
right,
just vocalize that and I say, hey, such and such and such. I think that's where communication, but for the most part, it really doesn't bother me because I'm just gonna be honest. I don't want no man up underneath me all the time. I just don't. Like literally
right.
that's how my mind functions. I'm not I just never been that person. I think there was a time I may have been like that, but that's why I keep saying like 19, 18, maybe. It's been a while. It's been a really, really long time. But for me, I like my alone time. Sometimes I'm having my alone time, and my husband picks the weirdest times, like the times when I'm deep in thought, to try come have a full blown conversation. And then now I have to compose myself and like turn it off so I can actually tune into what he's saying. But in that moment, I'm like, dude, you picked the wrong time to come and
See,
have a conversation with me. I was
Hanifa,
chilling.
Hanifa,
Yeah.
you know the male version of that?
Mm.
I'm down like 5 on 2K in the fourth quarter with like 2 minutes left. And she just started calling me from the other room.
you be so mad.
You heard me in this room cussing at this TV. Now you want me to come in here and help you with some shit.
She needs something yellow, and you in the basement, so now you
We
gotta
about
come
to
all the
break
way
up. We
upstairs.
about to break up. We about to break up
Show
right
me,
now.
show me
I
how
lose
much I
this
mean to you.
game. I lose this game. We about to break up. You know I can't pause either. We lose this game. About to break up. You done took me all out my shit. You did all out
That's
my
the
shit. I'm in the
test. That's the test of your love, Yellow. Show me
no,
how much
I
I mean
don't.
to you.
I love this W.
I don't know.
Like you know what I'm saying?
I think the person who wants a very specific environment for whatever piece they need deserves the basement. I don't like the idea that it's always the men. My husband be like, you can go down there, you go paint it pink, put all your shit
That's
down
a
there
good point,
since
Bree.
you like your own space. Like that's what he be like. Oh, you know what? You want to paint some walls pink?
A
You like to
ma'am
be by
cave.
yourself and listen to
A
soothing
ma'am
sounds.
cave. I like it.
Why don't you go in the basement? Man cave.
I'm
And
not.
I like my little
Something.
separate space because the kids
Some.
can't come messing with me.
I heard a really good name. Y'all don't have to call it that because I know y'all are sophisticated ladies. I heard it called the slut hut before, and that was awesome
Hey.
too.
Not the slut hut.
Oh snap!
Wait, there's a
The
name that they
slut
have for it
hut.
though.
The she
There's a
shed.
name.
I'm not going
Yeah,
There it
she
is.
outside.
shed. Yes, a she shed. Yeah. Thank you.
I
Yes.
don't want to have to go
Dang.
outside.
Slim said, "Yeah, you get a closet too. We get a man closet. Y'all get the bathroom. Y'all get a prayer closet."
Damn.
He ain't never lied.
Hey, you get
That
them
is
a
the
big enough
woman's escape
bathroom
from the
though.
children.
Get them a
That's what
big
we
enough
escape from the
bathroom.
children.
How you get
Fair
ownership
enough.
over the bathroom?
Give them a big enough bathroom. Shit.
That's sad. But no,
Hey.
I think both genders should be willing to go in the basement. It's whoever needs that little sacred space. I think they should be the one who gets the other space.
Yeah, but you made a good point
Facts.
too, because like everyone, all men are not the same, all women are not the same. And you're saying, my husband isn't that guy that wants a man cave, right? And it's like, okay, respect to that. And so your house is set up in that way. But I know a lot of men talk about like having that space. Even when men are shopping for houses with their wives or with their lady or whatever the situation is, like there's always a conversation around like the basement and what it's going to be used for and all of those things. Like for me personally, if they're asking for just a little corner in the house, give it to them. You have the whole rest of the house for yourself. Maybe you can pick a little office space, create a little space for yourself. But that's a good point that you made too, with your husband being a different type of person, because for him it's like, I don't want to feel like I'm removed from my family, because I can see that how that can happen too. Because if
Yeah.
somebody's in the basement or, apart from the family and they're tuned into a basketball game, a football game, like they could, or whatever it is that they do, they could be gone for hours. So
Yeah, we wouldn't see him
yeah,
ever.
yeah, right.
We
And,
wouldn't see him
and
ever.
but I done had the unfortunate part of seeing some of the man caves turn into graveyards. Like you go down into your boy's basement, you know what I'm saying? Like you go down into your boy's basement and you see that sectional couch that was the couch I was playing 2K on and shit.
No,
And
not the
then like his
manhood graveyard.
and it's like, man, look, it's like that couch got just the soul. It's like you know how like on the old games your character died and they just like turn a light color or like a gray or like a lighter, it's like a ashy, dirty color. Man, and that couch just be sitting there looking like it's seen better days. You know what I'm saying? It's clothes all on it's unfolded laundry on that motherfucker.
That's so sad.
It's baby
It's where
toys
manhood
around.
goes to die.
I tried to put a plant in the basement. That Negro, he let that plant die. I was like, hey, I was trying to bring some green up in here.
He let it die in protest. I'll put that shit over there. He was like, a plant? No, hell no.
That's exactly what he said, Yellow. He's like, I'm not thinking about that shit. That's exactly what he said.
Plant.
But you do know a lot of men know they ain't gonna be left alone if they don't go in the basement, right?
Oh yeah.
I think that's why they look for it, because a lot of women can't respect. If she see you having fun, he's like, I gotta go out of sight, where she is never gonna let it go.
Bree, I'm glad you brought that up because I wanted to address. Hanifa made a point. And this I don't know, this might take a dark turn. Hanifa made a point that this was a very one-sided conversation. But that insecurity, need, and neediness and controlling, it looks different in men, and y'all, it's typically called abuse. When a man does not allow a woman to have space, does not allow her to have her own wants and needs outside of him, it's called abuse. I just wanted to bring that into the conversation real quick. Like I said, it might take
Are you making the point, Ashan? Are you making the point that are you saying it's actually abuse, or it's just labeled as abuse when it's done by the man versus it's the same behavior in the man and the woman, but it's not abuse when it's the woman, it's only abuse when it's the man. Is that what you're saying, or are you saying it's actual abuse?
I'm not saying it's actual abuse. I'm talking about the way it's perceived by society.
The way it's perceived.
I believe the abuse to me is a level of tolerance and power. So abuse to me is tolerance and power, because somebody may say you're being abused, but I'm like somebody starts hitting me. I'm a big guy. I can take a lot of hits. I'm like, you're being abused. That's what the behavior is called by society. But I might be letting somebody get off for fun. Like I used to tell my nephew to just hit me to like blow steam off. So I'm like, that's abuse. Nah, I'm letting him swing on something that's not going to hurt me. So tolerance is a thing that needs to be a part of, because men are tolerating the same activity. Literally, men are tolerating insecurity, controllingness, and neediness. Yeah. So men are tolerating that, and because of our ability to tolerate it, and because of our heightened sense of power, it's not called abuse. So those two dynamics have to be considered when it's abuse. So men.
Excellent point.
It is controlling behavior, though. Like you're saying, it's very controlling behavior that a lot of women do it, and it's not seen as abusive.
What's so toxic and miserable to her?
All that controllingness, the neediness,
everything. I agree. That is toxic. That is. You got to give people their own space to be their own person. You have to. They don't have to be underneath you all the time. Let them go out and hang out with their friends or whatever. And let them go do the stuff they like doing. I never understood guys who were controlling. I just never got it. It just does not compute.
It's the same reason women are controlling, though. It's the same thing.
Right. It's because it's considered abuse. And the only reason we can understand why women are controlling is because we've somehow removed the abusive aspect to it and made it how they are standard.
Well, some of our definitions of love is abusive.
Mm-hmm.
Like the need to possess each other is
Oh
a
yeah.
problem. You know, like we call it love, and I'm like, why do you need to possess another human being? Like,
Mm-hmm.
what is that about? Even the idea of your mind as this person is like your property type of thing. I don't even like that language. You know, and I'm careful when I talk about this stuff too, because the last time I talked about this somewhere,
Man.
they got out of it that I
Uh-oh.
was no, they got out of it that I was like into polygamy, and I was like, no, that's not what I said. What I'm saying is this idea that the possessiveness that comes along or tags along with monogamy is a problem. It's toxic to me. That's me. Like the way I see it, the way that we interpret love, the way that we try to say, oh, that's because and let me just say this. I don't know who just touched on it. Like somebody said there's a flip, maybe in the comment section, where women are like, there are women who do not think a man is loves them unless they can make them jealous, unless the guy can get jealous about something, that woman doesn't feel love, right? Unless the guy can get rough or loud, or we were talking about that earlier, they don't feel love. And then so the toxicity comes in like various ways depending on the person's experience and upbringing, and and of course traumas, all of those things. But for me personally, I think the way that we define love or our interpretation of love is a very unhealthy one. And that's just me, and I see it all the time. It's very unhealthy. And I think a
I
lot of
agree.
it is coming out of television.
I'm,
Yep.
I'm,
But sorry,
I'm,
go ahead, Yellow. Sorry.
I'm gonna say this though. You ain't mine, but you got something I'm paying the deed on. I'm paying the rent on that boy. I'm paying the car note on it right now. And I'll be damned if you let somebody else drive it. So yeah, your physical person don't belong to me. But I got the deed on the poom poom. I got the deed on the poom poom.
But that's an agreement, though. That doesn't mean you
Yeah,
own
that's why
it.
I say it's a
That's an
deed.
agreement.
Because right, you had to sign hand it over in the sign. So other than that, man, be you. Shit, be you.
Uh, yeah, I don't like that. I was trying to see where you were going. I don't like that. I
What?
always say that you don't. I
What?
agree with Hanifa.
No,
We don't
no,
belong to
no.
each other. Yella know the first argument we ever
Oh
had on
my
Twitch.
God.
Yella,
No,
we
I
not gonna
know.
do that again.
I
But
know. I
I
know.
agree with Hanifa. I think people want some guarantee that no matter what, if this is I did this and so this, now life don't give you that. That poom poom could be over somewhere else tomorrow. There are no guarantees, and the better you realize that and you find a secure way to exist knowing that truth, the better off you will be.
All right.
Yeah,
Now if
and
I ain't putting a ring,
the
if I ain't putting a ring on it, then yeah. But if I'm calling you something like a wife or anything that fall in that synonym, and you think that poom poom gonna be out here around anywhere, well, I guess like wherever we living is just not gonna be on the map no more. Because I'm scooping that motherfucker up and throwing it in the Atlantic Ocean.
Why would
I
your
So
wife
cannot.
give her poom poom to somebody else? You don't have to own
who
it for them. That's just
knows?
honoring an
Who
agreement, Yella.
knows?
That's just
Who
honoring an
knows?
agreement. That's
Who
just
Yeah.
knows? Who
that's
knows?
not
I'm
any
just talking
kind of
shit.
possessiveness you have that keeps her poom poom from being out on the street. It's her agreement to what you both agreed to that keeps her poom
Yeah.
poom off the street. Cause there's
Yeah.
wives out here smashing right now.
I know. Shout out to him too.
As we speak. As we speak.
Shout out to him. Shit. Why y'all?
Yeah,
No.
I agree. I agree. It's the idea that people have autonomy over themselves. Like they can decide tomorrow. This is where people be losing their mind because they go down the list of things that they have done for that person as to why that person should not fall out of love with them, should not want to be with them anymore, should not. And it's like, whoa, hold up. You know that you don't own them because you bought stuff, or you paid for some shit or whatever that is. Like I don't know what that is. That's just not that's not normal human behavior to me. You know what I'm saying? Like every single person gets to decide for themselves whatever their path or whatever that's going to be. And you have to make room for that. People are going to disappoint you. People are going to betray you. You know, we started off the conversation talking about this stuff, right, Asha? Like the three types of friends, right? You know, people are going to be human. So this idea that I bought you the biggest ring, I put you in the best house, you know what I'm saying? I gave you the best, you know, I blew your back out. You know what I'm saying? Whatever that is, right? That somehow you owe me a lifetime of allegiance. Like that's kind of not how this works. And I think the quicker that people wrap their mind around that, I think it goes back to what Bree was saying. It's an agreement. I agree to respect you. I agree to the mutual respect in the relationship. I agree to monogamy, right? Like people getting in relationships and marriages, and it's like, no, we both agree to be monogamous and exclusive. They're not all relationships are like that. But when you come into that agreement, you don't get to say, oh, well, why should you mind if I'm messing around with this person? Because that's not part of the agreement. Like, what are we doing? It boils down to agreement, not necessarily ownership. And I think people gotta get away from that because it's like, oh, I love you so much that you owe this to me now. And it's like, no, that's not how it works. Sorry. We really need to because a lot of young girls are learning love, what the idea of love looks like from like television and stuff like that. And then how we're doing relationships in front of them. Like I don't know. I just struggle with the idea of what we call love because I think there's a lot of abuse in there that we don't call abuse. It depends on who is expressing it. Like Ashan said, he's controlling. Girl, you should leave him. He's abusive, right? What do women get called, Ashan? What's the word? Not abusive. What do we get called? Clingy.
Yeah,
She's clingy.
One. Yep. Or needy.
Yeah.
All kinds of little softer language.
Yeah.
Softer language.
Exactly. Yep.
And I get that
with clingy women.
What would Take It Home podcast say? Bury them in the ocean with the ancestors who knew that. Now let me quit. I'm just. But what's up? Take It Home podcast. Chris Classic in the building. What you should do with clingy women? Honestly, for me, everything is, and I hate this. I hate to say this because it's a non-answer. It's an answer with a non-answer. Everybody's different. Somebody is built for a clingy woman. Somebody wants to be clung to, like Velcro. There's the hook side, and then there's that fuzzy side. Somebody's built for that. The issue is we're attracted to somebody that's clingy, and we try to make them not clingy to suit our temperament. I don't like somebody clingy, but man, you fine. Or the opposite. Somebody's distant, and we try to make them cling to us. I want you to cling to me because I've had women that were really bothered by the fact that I wasn't a pursuer. I'm not going to chase you until I know that you're into me. I don't do all that in between. I don't. I'm not going to invest a lot of energy.
You don't simp?
What I am. Because see, Hanifa, here's the thing. If I'm into you and I know you're into me, the world is yours. Whatever I have is yours. I'm like the Leo. Gonna be putting the Leo in the chat. I'm a Leo. I'm loyal. I'm giving. I'm generous. I'm protective. I'm that dude. But I need to know that you're going to be in it because you're going to get everything. So I need to know that I have everything from you. I can show you interest, but I need to know where your interest is because we talked about there's a term I'm pushing it hard. I'm going to do a whole thing on it because what you were talking about earlier, Hanifa, these people who are not really attracted, I'm calling it romance as an acronym. Relationships of marginal attraction and need cost extra. If you do not have the heightened level of attraction or the heightened level of need, it's going to cost you extra to maintain that relationship. You're going to have to offer some extra benefit to keep that person engaged and invested. So that's my acronym for romance. And that's what we're talking about. A lot of times when we're having these discussions, we're talking about people that have a marginal attraction. You're just good enough for me to be interested, but I need you to prove it with resources, with sex on the first, second, or third date, with I need you to pay that extra footnote because I'm only, you almost sold me. And I can't do that with anybody. I need you to let me know that you're all in because I only do all or nothing. I don't do the marginal. I'm all or nothing. So I have to protect myself from that. So I don't do, she was pissed. She was bothered by the fact that I wouldn't do all the phone calls and I'm not doing all the reaching out. No, because I'm not here to validate your existence. I'm not here to give you all the feels of somebody chasing you. I'm not your feel factory. What I am is a person that has needs too. But I promise you, your needs will get met when mine are. That's got to be the arrangement. Got to be.
I like it.
Dag, Ashawn, dag.
Well, I guess you better know if you fuzzy, the clingy side, or I'm standoffish. I'm kind of like that as well. I was the type that I don't. Actually, if you chase me, I might run. So I kind of was the person that didn't want to be chased because I'm inclined to run. I'm skittish. I'm skittish type. So that is true.
Yeah, Miss said, don't
You
follow
made a
me
good
around
point,
everywhere.
though. He made a good point too, Ashan, where you were saying that that clinginess may work with someone.
Yeah.
Because there are people, like we were talking about, people who are caretakers. Because I remember, I had a friend, and for the life of us, we couldn't understand why she was with this guy, right? And she was, what was she? She was a psychologist, and we was just like, he was just really distant, like just really just cold in a sense. Almost, I can't explain it, but I used to think he was like ex-military. No offense, Mandrill, but I used to think he was like ex-military, but I was like, no, we found out he wasn't. That's just how he was. And for the life of me, I was like, why? And then somebody had to tell me that probably works for her. That type of guy probably works for her. That's why the relationship works. You know what I'm saying? Like, we are on the outside looking in and saying, I would never deal with that. I would never be able, but it probably works for the person, even though we might see it as unhealthy, right? It probably works for the person that is in the relationship. And I see that a lot with people who are caretakers, right? Who, like, they're always trying to fix somebody. You'll be looking from the outside like, yo, she or he is toxic as hell. How did they not see that? But because of the, build a bear ways that they have, you get what I'm saying? That person is intriguing to them. That person holds their interest. That person keeps, them busy pretty much, in a sense, because they are always about fixing people. But from the outside, you're like, he or she should leave the person because they're just coming with too much. But for them, they like the challenge. They want to be able to save the person. Some people have a savior complex as well. So I like what you just said when you were saying that, yeah, clinginess might work for someone else. And for somebody else, it might be a turn off completely.
And last thing on that, if I can, real quick, like, this is a concept I'm working on. I don't have language for it, but everybody tries to do a one-to-one. Like, well, Mandrill ran into a clingy person and it didn't work. So everybody that runs into a clingy person, it won't work. They try to do a one-to-one, but it's more complex than that. And again, this ain't perfect language, but I have, like, because I'm a dime, okay? I'm a dime. I try to think about it like two coins. They're two double-sided actions. There's how you receive a thing. So that's the first coin. Somebody approached Mandrill that's clingy, needy, and insecure. He might have a positive reception to that. Ooh, I kind of like the attention that she's offering me. Or he might have a negative reception to that. Like, that repels me. It repulses me. Either I desire it or I repulse it. That's on the first end. That's the reception. But then how he reacts to it might be different, which is what I think might have happened to his girlfriend that said, I like to travel or whatever. She received it well, but then she reacted negatively. Because even though it doesn't matter how you receive it, you may receive the thing very well, but then when you like inhabit it, when you're living with it, you might receive it, or you may react to it well, or you may react to it negatively. So it's like a double-sided thing. Like there's two double-sided things: how you receive it, and then how you react to it. And it's hard for people to conceive that. It's like, oh, well, you said you liked it, yeah, and I liked it when I got it, but then when I tried to live with it, I had a negative reaction. But if you have like a double positive, everything's good. But a double positive is like one of 4 different possibilities. So it's like on the mathematical side of it, it's really hard to conceptualize, but it's people don't just have one reaction to a thing, which is why we always talk about like hypocrite, where they're contradicting themselves, where your mind doesn't have your mind is not linear. Our minds don't work like that.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, logical.
We ain't all we're not all consumed by one emotion in the moment. Yeah,
and because it's a coin you can flip.
Right. I was gonna say it's like this all the parents gonna get this one too, folks who've seen it. It's like the idea with Inside Out. How when her memories and her thoughts had because like for a minute all of them was made of the same color. But once they started blending, those was the memories that was sticking. And it was the fact that those memories triggered different responses. So it was some memories that triggered joy and sadness. You know what I'm saying? It's some things. So yeah, I feel where you're going on.
And it's all conditional. It's all like based on circumstances. It's all based on circumstances. Because I can hand you $5 and you'd be like, thank you, Rashawn. But then if you say, well, I owed you 50, then you don't feel the same way, even though the exact same event occurred. The circumstances change how the coins flip, how you receive it, and then how you react to it. Like, but it's closer to the truth about how people respond to an event than the way we currently think about it.
Guys, I gotta go get my son.
All right, Hanifa, thank you for coming. It's been a
Thank
pleasure.
you for letting me hang. Thank you for letting me hang out. It's been a while. I haven't been on the tube and doing anything, panels or anything. So I appreciate the conversation. This was a rich conversation, as usual.
Yes, give us any last words you got.
Nah, peace and blessings to everyone. And Mandrill and the likes of Mandrill, be careful out here. You know what I'm saying? Don't be making these women think that they don't like you for one reason when it's a really, maybe they just don't like the size of your head or some shit. You know what I'm saying? But don't be letting these women play y'all out here, okay? People are not honest. That's all I'm going to say about that. Be able to differentiate between whether she likes you or she just don't like you or respect you, and it has nothing to do with your what you call it, your hobbies and stuff like that. That's just a cop out. Stop leaving these women play with y'all. That's all I'm saying.
It's good to hear your voice, Hanifa.
Same here, Bree. It's always a pleasure, man. God. It's always a pleasure. You guys have a good one.
You too, Hanifa. Thank you so much.
Bye.
All right. Bye.
Damn.
Big head ass Mandrill.
Damn.
She said you walking around here with a head like that.
Some beady eyes.
He probably playing God of War, man. He probably playing God of War.
He is. That's why he's single.
Why is everybody
dissociated? He be dissociated on dates. I just know it.
Everybody
I know he be sitting
the
across. He might sit across the table with somebody and dissociate on their ass in the middle of the day. I don't even realize he gone.
He's still here. Mandrill, where you at?
Rashawn do it on panels all the time. Rashawn be dissociating.
Mandrill type of nigga bring like Pokemon cards on the first date or some shit like that.
No, he wouldn't. He dissociated.
I know.
Then he'll get a goofy ass smile on his face the whole time and just be gone.
That's probably actually a good test for him, though. Honestly, do something that's intentionally alternative. Do something intentionally and like loudly. Be loudly alternative. And her response to that, and he'll like first date, he can eliminate all of the people that are just
If you dissociate across the table from me, I might be like, hey, what's going on? Hey, come back. Where you went? That's rude.
Man, look, that's why I say you start off with some crazy shit. Just my first impression on you is gonna be some crazy shit. I told you I don't approach with, hey, how you doing? I'm gonna say some
No,
far
see,
off
you
left
talking about
shit.
having game. Crazy shit is like, don't sit across the table with her and just yell loud as hell and scare everybody. Like that's
So
crazy.
don't
Don't
start
do that.
don't start rubbing your
Don't
stomach and
startle
patting your
her.
head at the same time.
Yeah,
or some
women are
shit.
skittish. Don't
Don't be
take
But
like
you
that.
can,
what did dude say? He was like what he's like what he say what dude say at the table on the dinner with old girl? He was like you will
The
not
creepy
embarrass
dude?
oh yeah, you will not embarrass me. Yeah, yeah.
You
Yeah,
will
you
not
will.
embarrass me.
You will not embarrass me. She's saying you can't just start screaming.
Because Yella sounded crazy, and I'm just thinking about it. He's sitting across the table. He just yell real loud. See if she jump.
Personality test, man. See what that
I might
disposition
Sir,
do.
no.
My thing is this. Okay, my first date thing is this, and this is really what's up. If me and you can't sit at the table and roast the other couples in there, we probably can't be together. It ain't got to be nothing malicious, but I'm just the type of person where I'm shit, because that's what I'm looking at the situation to be. Us to just be the best motherfuckers ever. I can lie to myself. I don't give a fuck if we ain't shit. It is what it is. But I'm sitting there, I want to be able to roast the other couple. Look at that motherfucker. That ugly ass suit he got on. My suit could be ugly. I don't give a fuck. I just want to vibe with the person across from the table with me. Somebody might be roasting us. Oh, ugly ass nigga. You know what I'm saying? So shit. It is what it is. Damn, y'all, hold on, wait. Is that a thing? Like, what would you just
No, but when you say
flipping the
do something
table?
crazy, when you say do something
No.
crazy, that was like one of my first thoughts. Like, don't be at the table twitching and stuff. Like, just being weird. Like, you can do something not expected, but not like crazy. Because crazy has a very specific.
There's nothing you could do because if you started juggling silverware, it'd still be weird. If you started making, you started making ducks out of the napkins, she gonna be looking at you like, "What's wrong with you?"
Yeah. Like if you do the tablecloth thing, where like you snatch the tablecloth and all the shit still on the table.
Yeah, you could do something like, well, don't, because if you get it wrong, now we got to get out because you just broke all the stuff on the table.
Exactly, man. There's nothing you could do.
See,
no, but if he did ducks, that would be cool. If he folded the napkins, I'd be so into it. Don't play with me. I'd be like, teach me how to do it.
Impressive, sure. Okay, look, here it is right here. Impressive, sure, but crazy, no. Everything that's impressive is crazy.
No,
unless the person's impressed. Unless the person's impressed.
Yeah.
Unless the person is impressed, it's crazy.
Showcasing a talent that you have that a person's like, that's weird, is not crazy.
If I'm at dinner and bust out with a talent, that's crazy. But if you're impressed by it, that's totally subjective to you.
That's not crazy. Crazy is crazy.
Everything's crazy to the person. Crazy's in the eye of the beholder is what I'm trying to say. Because if I pulled a saxophone from under the dinner table and started playing, you might think I'm crazy.
No,
you might think I'm crazy. You might think I'm crazy. But if it was like, you know, you might be like, oh, okay, he can play.
Like, that was great. How did you get that saxophone under the table?
Right, and see, that could escalate. That could escalate a little bigger, right? So you pull out the saxophone, he started playing good, and then out just come a bunch of other motherfuckers playing saxophone, and you got a whole motherfucking flash mob. Is that crazy?
That's not crazy.
Impressive? I mean, I'm just asking.
That's a guy who prepared. Now, if I didn't tell you where we was gonna meet, and this date was just set up yesterday, you might be crazy if you got a whole flash mob on the ready. But if this date was ahead of time, and you had time to practice, I'd be like, wow, I did all this preparation for this date. Now, if that's the first date, I'm running. But if it's the first date, y'all know I'm running. Now, if you can come out with a flash mob on date one, I'm out of here.
I mean, see, somebody else will love that. Somebody be like, "Oh my God, he must be an influencer. Look how many people he can mobilize in a heartbeat."
It's just that it's the line is just like that's what he said. It's a flip of a coin.
Flip of a coin.
My thing is this. When I say some crazy shit, it ain't nothing that's gonna make it. I'm not gonna come startle no fucking body. But if I'm on, and I'm talking about like a cold approach. I'm talking about like walking up to him and saying some shit. Like I'm gonna establish probably like 30% of who I am in my opening line because I'm gonna say some shit. I could say like I can say anything from damn them shoes fly to I ain't even gonna say it, but some other shit depending on the situation, right?
You nasty.
I mean,
we have mothers listening to that.
Hey, look, y'all, mama's for a reason. I'm just saying, it's 50-50 though. It's 50-50.
Y'all are overgeneralizing this because there are definitely some things that no matter if the person likes you or not are definitely crazy. That's my only point.
Okay, look,
not all things are
I'm gonna say this. I'm not an expert, right? But I'll be 36 in 13 days. I have 35 years and 52 weeks of field experience in approaching women. Okay, I have recycled many a line, many an approach, many an attempt. You know, you got to evolve. And I'm telling you, it's got to be the ratio to a lot of that shit be like damn near 50-50. I've got turned down on some of the same shit that I've motherfucking got. Yeah, all right, cool. And I'd be like, all right, that worked. Thank you, Leah.
I mean, I agree, but there's just some things like if you came to the table and hit me with a chair, like, oh, I love WWE, so I'm trying to show you my love of wrestling. That is crazy. That's never gonna be not crazy. You just hit me with a folding chair.
But I need you to be cool if I grab the waiter and powerbomb his ass through the table because I'm a wrestler.
That's crazy. That's legitimate.
That's crazy to you.
It's crazy to you.
If you do a wrestling move onto the dinner table to somebody else to show me how great of a wrestler you are, you're crazy. You're crazy.
You're subjective. It's all subjective.
Yeah.
It's not subjective. It only would be not crazy in a wrestling ring. But at dinner, on the table,
I'm gonna be impressed. I'm gonna be impressed.
I might be impressed.
My life.
If a woman did that, I'm impressed.
I'm impressed.
I'm like, what? Did she just powerbomb? What?
Okay. All right.
Women are skittish. So do something crazy if you want to. She's going to. Me and Leah are the skittish type, and we agree. Yeah. I'm bolting.
And that's cool.
If she stays, you might need to leave
on
her
the
alone.
table at a restaurant. I mean, I'm not going to do it as a guy, but I'm saying if the woman just happens to body slam somebody, I might be like that. That was interesting. I might be.
I'm just saying. I already said it. Remember, we had this big, huge thing about me saying that the woman of my dreams would just walk up and if she seen some chick talking to me, and I was like, "Hey, back up off me," and I was in one of the positions. If you don't come up, if she would come up and back at the pow one good time, I mean, look, she can have my entire soul.
So you want her to football tackle him?
I mean, football tackles, drop kick. She can stone cold stunner her motherfucking ass. If she came up and powerbombed her ass through a table, I would be like, "Oh my God, have all my babies right now."
Yeah, I've seen you. That's what they sound like. I hear a lot of, some toxic masculinity. Okay, patriarchy. Okay.
Hey man, look,
it's giving our culture.
It works.
It's giving psychotic.
Patriarchy
giving mentally deranged.
Patriarchy
that works too.
Patriarchy is simply the cheese on the cheeseburger. How dare you just come up to me with a hamburger? Who the hell do you think you are? I need a cheeseburger. Okay. Patriarchy is just the cheese on the cheeseburger. You'd rather have it than I'm pretty sure you'd much rather have it than that. I mean, I'm just saying.
If Yellow wants to be wooed, Yellow wants Yellow wants a woman to pull up in a horse-drawn carriage in front of his house and take him to a WWE SmackDown.
I mean, that would be nice. Hey, look,
See, look, he was like, actually,
I'm
he
just
fine.
saying. I mean, you not wrong. You know, I wouldn't be against it. That's why I don't understand what some of these niggas be talking about. I wouldn't be against it. They be like, I ain't trying to have no woman. You lying? I know you lying.
No, they
Please
might be
tell
for
me
real.
true.
I think they
Please
want to
tell
be
me.
the person curating the experience. Some men like
Man, look.
they want to be the curators.
Look, I could be the quarterback or the running back. I can either, you know what I'm saying, control this interaction, or you can be the quarterback and hand me the ball. Just tell me where to be.
What's that
Tell me
mean?
where to run the play, coach.
What's that
Yeah,
mean?
said this turned into a Mandrill dating coach show. I think it was good. I think it was useful information, though. I'm about to head out too, but I think it was useful information.
All right, Bree, definitely appreciate you, and y'all have a good night. Appreciate you.
All right, bye guys.
For those on that vibe. You want to get some last words? Then come on, Bree, don't go. Wait.
Oh, happy Friday. Just know that everybody's not for you, and there are legitimate crazy things. So keep pepper spray, ladies. That's it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. We appreciate your final words, man. That was very enlightening. Appreciate you. Thank you, Bree. Man, Joe, you back yet? I'm gonna drop you in the back.
All right, man. All right, the ladies gone. Let the fellas can talk.
Yeah, we talk crazy. Ah, man. But all right, man, Joe, when you back? I'm just putting on the back chat. Man, so other than that, my guy. Pretty sure everyone M said, yeah. Okay, everybody's telling me to close up shop, I guess. Everybody's like, nah, get on out of here.
Wrap
it up. Hey, listen. So let me tell y'all what we about to do, what I'm about to do next then. I will probably be back tomorrow because my plans for tomorrow got changed. So tomorrow evening, oh shoot, I'm doing something tomorrow evening. It might be tomorrow afternoon, like 1 p.m. Eastern time. I'm going to finish up what I was talking about here that I did not conclude. I'll just finish that up tomorrow. Or I might just skip on to the relationship part of it. There was like some reactions, video reactions. I might skip to that tomorrow afternoon. We'll see. But I will be here at some point during this weekend. I know tomorrow evening I have another plan. I forgot about that. And Sunday won't work. No, it's all good. It's all good. It might be time. I'll go with the flow. I go with the flow. M Mills, I go with the flow. Everybody's dipping out. It might be a good time for everybody to head out and go do the rest of the things they need to do on this Friday. Mandrell's got to sit with himself and decide why he attracts clingy, insecure, controlling women. Yella has to go figure out why he likes women that drop kick him as he walks into a restaurant. I myself, I don't have anything to figure out because I'm perfect and I'm a dime. And I think everybody knows that. That's why you came here in the first place. So that is my Tuesday, of course, is my guaranteed. I will be here. Should be me and Bree on Tuesday. But please go check out content that Bree's been putting out during this week. Kawaii Bree Can't Relate. I'll put that back in the chat again. It should bring up a link in a minute. But check her out. She's been having like conversations, chit chats during the week, during the midday portion, somewhere between noon and 2. Thank you, Risa. Thank you, Quantum. Thank you so much. I don't know when the comment will be coming back up. Boom. And thank you, Hanifa. Thank you, Bree. Thank you, Mandrell. Thank you, Yella, for contributing to the conversation. I'll be back with y'all soon. I did do the intro, so I'm going to stick with Umar, man. I think I'm going to stick with Umar. I think I had Umar at some point in here. Or should I go with the pastor? Jesus, I don't know. I'd go with Umar. Umar did.
Who the fuck are you? Excuse me. I only debate my equals. All others I teach.
Need all the hundreds and fifties, let's spread it. I'm with this shit, so let's get it. Killing it, leaving nobody, no addicts. Boxing like I'm Lenny Kravitz.
You have cooned so bad, my brother, that they damn near need to put your face in the dictionary next to the word coon. And I don't mean no disrespect, my brother. White man play you like he play Sega. He play you. This is He ain't even got to be in the hood. He got this. He played Negroes like this. But they not speaking up against your oppression. I wish another coon, boot-licking, shut-jiving Uncle Tom will get in my face talking about we need to be patient.
We gotta sweat. Y'all don't want to sweat. Y'all don't want to sweat. Y'all just want to be comfortable.
It's none of your concern. You don't have the right to ask me where I've been. You don't have the right to know what I was doing. You messed up, and I took a break. And guess what? The next time you mess up, I'm going to take another break.
Take your breaks, people. Have a good night. Happy Friday. Have a good weekend. All that good stuff.